missing Michael Gardner as he's playing Pisanio and Cornelius the doctor. So I'm sure he's having techno issues, Maybe I'll call him or text him. I don't think he comes in until he comes in fairly early, I think. I'll just have to cover or poor Michael. I'm sure he's desperately he's had techno issues lately with his laptop. I forget when Pisanio starts up.
I think he's in scene 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Cornelius also comes in a couple scenes later. He doesn't say much, but yeah. All right. So
okay, well, we're live on YouTube now. So I just want to say hello and welcome. This is the Instant Shakespeare Company doing the reading of the Tragedy of Cymbeline, Shakespeare's happiest tragedy. And I'm Paul Sugarman of the Instant Shakespeare Company, and this reading is playmastered by Virginia Hammer. So over to you, Virginia. You can introduce people and get started, and we can either figure that Michael will be here when he needs to be, or somebody else will step in.
That's right. I'm texting him right now on my iPhone. All right. Anyway, I'll do that in a moment. Hi. Okay, so we're going to introduce ourselves. This is the first of Shakespeare's last 4 plays, romances. And all of them have to do with reconciliation between a father and a daughter, interestingly enough, because he was going through that, Shakespeare, in his own real life. He had to leave his family in Stratford all those years, far away in London, making his name. So anyway, and it's a goofy, sprawling melodrama, and it's something else, man, this play. It's powerfully moving, and you got to suspend your disbelief a lot in this play in places. Okay, so hi, Michael. Yay. Hi.
No, I'm sorry I was late. Okay, I'm all good now.
Good. Now we have a full contingent. Good. Okay, so let's introduce ourselves. I am the playmaster, and I'm just playing small roles this time. I'm doing musicians with Clotton's musicians, and I'm doing messengers, and I'm doing the first jailer. I will name you by name if you don't mind. Okay, let's have the title roll here. Bill? Oh, you're muted, Bill.
I was going to do the whole play muted. I thought that would be an Bill Gruneberg. I'm playing Cymbeline.
Okay, and his wife, Jackie?
Oh, hi, I'm Jackie Margolis, and I'm going to do the Queen.
Right, and that's one of I think that's the only principal role in all his plays. He didn't bother to give her a name because she's such a baddie. Isn't that interesting?
I love that tree.
What tree?
Michael has a
Oh,
tree.
Michael, yeah, it's great. It is great. Okay, now we have one of the best heroines he ever wrote. We have Christina.
I'm Christina Osterling reading Imogen.
Yay.
Yeah.
And we have her beloved, Brian.
Brian White playing Posthumus.
Yeah. And we have their nemesis, the antagonist, Iachimo, and also another big role. It's great. Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan, he, him, or Caesar. I'm playing Iachimo, aka the world's first frat boy, and Darius.
And Guiderius, who is the older brother, right, in the wilderness, in Wales. In Wales. And then we have the younger brother, Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jesse, he or they, and I'm playing Arviragus.
Excellent. And we have their father, Angus.
Hi, Angus Hepburn from London, doing Bellarius and Senator and Cecilius Leonatus.
All right.
In the end of the play. Okay, and we have another antagonist, who's the comic relief, and we have Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Gehring. I'm playing Cloten.
Yeah, some people call it Cloten or Cloten.
Cloten.
Do you want which one? What do you guys want to stick with?
Cloten. It sounds more clot.
That's what I think too.
Well, I don't have to say
Cloten is rotten.
Clot, exactly. It just has more of a sound. That Cloten is too good. Clot.
That's what I think. But if you want to say Cloten and take the piss out of him, go ahead too.
You say Trump, I say Trump.
I played Imogen in a production fully mounted one performance only when I was 44 with the Shakespeare workout. I won't go about it, but the guy brilliant that played Clotton. Bush was still president. He played it as Bush with a parasite, like he had just been, it was right beginning of the Iraq war. And when he had that parachute outfit on, like he was in the army, and he played the whole thing with the perfect George Bush accent. It was a brilliant Clotton. He was really brilliant, this guy. Okay, anyway. Okay, Trudy is playing wonderful roles.
Hi, I am. I'm very lucky. Thank you, Virginia. Trudy Bird. I'm starting out with the second gentleman. I'm playing every lady I could find.
Yeah, that's right.
I have the Soothsayer, and I have the mother, who incidentally does have a name.
Oh, right. She does. She does. Yes. Trudy's a newer member and she's wonderful. What a name, right? Trudy Bird. I want your name. Okay. And now we have a brand new member. Oh, Jonathan is very important here. Yes, Jonathan Waterfield, please.
I'm Jonathan Waterfield. I'm playing a couple of Romans. First, Philario, and then Caius Lucius.
Right. He's the major big general. And we have brand new member. Welcome, Sarah Ruschhoff. Ruschhoff. I know I have a German last name too. Are you muted?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Rushoff. I use she, her, and they, them pronouns, and I will be reading for the Second Lord, as well as a couple of captains, a jailer, and a senator.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think he's the only one amongst us here who was a member from the first year of Instant Shakespeare Company 2 years ago. Ken Wayne. Ken?
The third year. The third year. This coming year, my 20th anniversary.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
I'm the one from the first year.
Right, Angus, I'm sorry, right.
Wow.
Okay, Ken, please.
I'm the first gentleman, etc.
Okay, good for you. Okay, we've spent enough time on this because I'm so wordy.
No.
Okay, without any further ado, the tragedy of the comedy, the romance of Cymbeline. Let's begin.
Okay, I have the first line. It may take me a minute or two to the script. So
you're having techno issues. You sound reverberated a little bit, Ken, but yeah, okay.
Yes, I know.
I'm out now. I'm gonna mute myself and go away. Let us have fun. Let's just have fun. Okay.
Okay. Almost there. Okay, here we go. You do not meet a man, but frowns. Our bloods no more obey the heavens than our courtiers still seem, as does the king's.
What's the matter?
His daughter, and the heir of his kingdom, whom he purposed to his wife's sole son, a widow that late he married, hath referred herself unto a poor but worthy gentleman. She's wedded, her husband banished, she imprisoned, all is outward sorrow, though I think the king be touched at very heart.
But the king?
He that hath lost her too, so is the queen that most desire the match. But not a courtier, although they wear their faces to the bent of the king's looks, hath a heart that is not glad at the thing they scowl at.
Why so?
He that hath missed the princess is a thing too bad for bad report. And he that hath her, I mean that married her, alack good man and therefore banished, is a creature such as to seek through the regions of the earth for one his like. There would be something failing in him that should compare. I do not think so fair and outward and such stuff within, and dows a man but he.
You speak him fair.
I do extend him, sir, within himself, crush him together rather than unfold his measure duly.
What's his name and birth?
I cannot delve him to the root. His father was called Cecilius, who did join his honor against the Romans with Cymbeline, but had his titles by Tenantius, whom he served with glory and admired success. So gained the Suredition Leonatus, and had besides this gentleman in question 2 other sons. who in the wars of the time died with their swords in hand, for which their father, then old and fond of issue, took such sorrow that he quit being. And his gentle lady, big of this gentleman our theme, deceased as he was born. The king, he takes the babe to his protection, calls him Posthumus Leonatus, breeds him and makes him of his bedchamber, puts to him all the learnings that his time could make him the receiver of, which he took as we do air, fast as 'twas ministered, and in spring became a harvest. Lived in court, which rare it is to do, most praised, most loved, a sample to the youngest, to the more mature, a glass that featured them, and to the graver, a child that guided dotards. To his mistress, for whom he now is banished, her own price proclaims how she esteemed him, and his virtue by her election may be truly read what kind of man he is.
I honor him even out of your report, but pray you tell me, is she sole child to the king?
His only child. He had 2 sons, if this be worth your hearing, mark it. The eldest of them at 3 years old, the swathing clothes the other, from their nursery was stolen, and to this hour no guess and knowledge which way they went.
How long is this ago?
Some 20 years.
Oh, that a king's children should be so conveyed, so slackly guarded, and the search so slow that could not trace them.
Howsoe'er 'tis strange, or that the negligence may well be laughed at, yet is it true, sir.
I do well believe you.
We must forbear. Here comes the gentleman, the queen and princess.
No, be assured you shall not find me, daughter, after the slander of most stepmothers, evil died unto you. You're my prisoner, but your jailer shall deliver you the keys that lock up your restraint. For you, Posthumus, so soon as I can win the offended king, I will know your advocate. Marry yet the fire of rage is in him, and 'twere good you leaned unto his sentence, with what patience your wisdom may inform you.
Please, your highness, I will from hence today.
You know the peril. I'll fetch a turn around the garden, pitying the pangs of barred affections, though the king hath charged you should not speak together.
Oh, dissembling courtesy. How fine this tyrant can tickle where she wounds. My dearest husband, I something fear my father's wrath, but nothing, always reserved my holy duty, what his rage can do on me. You must be gone, and I shall here abide the hourly shot of angry eyes, not comforted to live, but that there is this jewel in the world that I may see again.
My queen, my mistress, O lady, weep no more, lest I give cause to be suspected of more tenderness than doth become a man. I will remain the loyalest husband that did e'er ply troth. My residence in Rome at one Philorio's, who to my father was a friend, to me known but by letter, thither write, my queen, and with mine eyes I'll drink the words you send, though ink be made of gall.
Be brief, I pray you. If the king come, I shall ensure I know not how much of his displeasure, yet I'll move him to walk this way. I never do him wrong, but he does buy my injuries. To be friends, pays dear for my offenses.
Should we be taking leave, as long a term as yet we have to live, the loathness to depart would grow. Adieu.
Nay, stay a little. Were you but riding forth to air yourself, such parting were too petty. Look here, love. This diamond was my mother's. Take it heart, but keep it till you woo another wife, when Imogen is dead.
How? How? Another? You gentle gods, give me but this I have, and sear up my embracements from the next with bonds of death. Remain thou here, while sense can keep it on, and sweetest fairest, as I, my poor self, did exchange for you. To your so infinite loss, so in our trifles, I still win of you. For my sake, wear this. It is a monocle of love. I'll place it upon this fairest prisoner.
Oh, gods. When shall we see again?
Alack, the king.
Thou basest thing, avoid hence from my sight. If after this command thou fraught the court with thy unworthiness, thou diest. Away, thou art poison to my blood.
The gods protect you and bless the good remainders of the court. I am gone.
There cannot be a pinch in death more sharp than this is.
O disloyal thing, that shouldst repair my youth, thou heapst a year's age on me.
I beseech you, sir, harm not yourself with your vexation. I am senseless of your wrath. A touch more rare subdues all pangs, all fears.
Past grace? Obedience?
Past hope, and in despair that way past grace.
Thou mightst have had the sole son of my queen.
Blessed that I might not. I chose an eagle and did avoid a puttock.
Thou tookst a beggar, wouldst have made my throne a seat for baseness.
No, I rather added a luster to it.
O thou viled one.
Sir, it is your fault that I have loved Posthumus. You bred him as my playfellow, and he is a man worthy any woman overbuys me almost the sum he pays.
What, art thou mad?
Almost, sir. Heaven restore me. Were I a needherd's daughter, and my Leonatus our neighbor shepherd's son.
Thou foolish thing, they were again together. You had done naught after our command. Away with her and pen her up.
Oh, beseech your patience. Peace, dear lady daughter, peace, sweet sovereign. Leave us to ourselves and make yourself some comfort out of your best advice.
Nay, let her languish a drop of blood a day, and being aged, die of this folly.
Aye, you must give way. Here is your servant. How now, sir, what news?
My lord, your son drew on my master.
No harm, I trust was done.
There might have been, but my master rather played than fought, and had no help of anger. They were parted by gentlemen at hand.
I am very glad on that.
Your son's my father's friend. He takes his part to draw upon an exile. Oh, brave sir. I would they were in Africa both together, myself by with a needle, that I might prick the goer back. Why came you from your master?
On his command, he would not suffer me to bring him to the haven. Left these notes of what commands I should be subject to when pleased you to employ me.
This hath been your faithful servant. I dare lay mine honor he will remain so.
Okay. I humbly thank your highness.
Pray, walk a while.
About some half-hour hence, pray you speak with me. You shall at least go see my lord aboard. For this time, leave me.
Sorry, is that my scene?
Yes.
Yes, I'm coming to it. Sir, I would advise you to shift a shirt. The violence of action hath made you reek as a sacrifice, where air comes out, air comes in. There's none abroad so wholesome as that you vent.
If my shirt were bloody, then to shift it. Have I hurt him?
No, faith, not so much as his patience.
Hurt him? His body's a passable carcass if he be not hurt. It is a thoroughfare for steel if it be not hurt.
His steel was in debt. It went to the backside the town.
The villain would not stand me.
No, but he fled forward still toward your face.
Stand you? You have land enough of your own. But he added to your having gave you some ground.
As many inches as you have oceans. Puppy.
I would they had not come between us.
So would I, till you had measured how long a fool you were upon the ground.
And that she should love this fellow and refuse me?
If it be a sin to make a true election, she is damned.
Sir, as I told you always, her beauty and her brain go not together. She's a good sign, but I have seen small reflection of her wit.
She shines not upon fools, lest the reflection should hurt her.
Come, I'll to my chamber. Would there had been some hurt done?
I wish it not so, unless it had been the fall of an ass, which is no great hurt.
You'll go with us?
I'll attend your lordship.
Hey, come, let's go together.
Well, my lord.
I would thou grewst unto the shores of the haven and questioned every sail. If he should write, and I do not have it, 'twere a paper lost as offered mercy is. What was the last thing that he spake of? What was the last thing that he spake to thee?
It was his queen, his queen.
Then he waved his handkerchief.
And kissed it, madam.
Senseless linen, happier therein than I, and that was all.
No, madam. For so long as he could make me with his eye or ear, distinguish him from others, he did keep the deck with glove or hat or handkerchief still waving as the fits and stirs of his mind could best express how slow his soul sailed on, how swift his ship.
Oh, thou shouldst have made him as little as a crow, or less ere left to after eye him.
Madam, so I did.
I would have broke mine eye strings, cracked them but to look upon him till the diminution of space and pointed him sharp as my needle. Nay, followed him till he had melted from the smallness of a gnat to air, and then have turned mine eye and wept. But good Bassanio, when shall we hear from him?
Be assured, madam, with his next vantage.
I did not take my leave of him, but had the most pretty things to say. Ere I could tell him how I would think on him at certain hours, such thoughts and such, or I could make him swear the she's of Italy should not betray mine interest or his honor, or have changed him at the 6th hour of morn, at noon, at midnight, to encounter me with orisons, for that I am in heaven with him, or ere I could give him that parting kiss, which I had set betwixt two charming words, comes in my father, and like a tyrannous breathing of the north shakes all our buds from growing.
Madam, desires your highness company?
Those things I bid you do. Go get them dispatched. I will attend the queen.
Madam, I shall.
Believe it, sir, I have seen him in Britain. He was then of a crescent note, expected to prove is so worthy as since he hath been allowed the name of. But I could then have looked on him without the help of admiration, though the catalogue of his endowments had been tabled by his side, and I to peruse him by items.
You speak of him when he was less furnished than now he is, with that which makes him both without and within.
I have seen him in France. We had very many there could behold the sun with as firm eyes as he.
This matter of marrying his king's daughter, wherein he must be weighed rather by her value than his own, words him, I doubt not, a great deal from the matter.
And then his banishment.
Aye, and the approbation of those that weep this lamentable divorce under her colors are wonderfully to extend him, be it but to fortify her judgment, which else is an easy battery might lay flat for taking a beggar without less quality. But how comes it he is to sojourn with you? How creeps acquaintance?
His father and I were soldiers together, to whom I have been often bound for no less than my life. Oh, here comes the Briton. Let him be so entertained amongst you as suits, with gentlemen of your knowing, to a stranger of his quality. I beseech you all, be better known to this gentleman, whom I commend to you as a noble friend of mine. How worthy he is, I will leave to appear hereafter, rather than story him in his own hearing.
Sir, we have known together in Orleans.
Since when I have been debtor to you for courtesies, which I will be ever to pay, and yet pay still.
Sir, you o'errate my poor kindness. I was glad I did atone my countrymen and you. It had been pity you should have been put together with so mortal a purpose as then each bore, upon importance of so slight and trivial nature.
By your pardon, sir, I was then a young traveler, rather shunned to go even with what I had heard. Then in my every action, to be guided by others' experiences. But upon my mended judgment, if I offend to say it is mended, my quarrel was not altogether slight.
Faith, yes, to be put to the arbitrament of swords, and by such two that would by all likelihood have confounded one the other, or have fallen both.
Can we with manners ask what difference?
Safely, I think, 'twas a contention in public, which may, without contradiction, suffer the report. It was much like an argument that fell out last night, where each of us fell in praise of our country mistresses. This gentleman at that time vouching, and upon warrant of bloody affirmation, he's to be more fair, virtuous, wise, chaste, constant, qualified, and less attemptable than any the rarest of our ladies in France.
That lady is not now living. This gentleman's opinion by this worn out.
She holds her virtue still, and I my mind.
You must not so far prefer her for ours of Italy.
Being so far fair provoked as I was in France, I would abate her nothing, though I profess myself her adorer, not her friend.
As fair and as good. A kind of hand-in-hand comparison had been something too fair and too good for any lady in Britain. If she went before others, I have seen as that diamond of yours outlusters many I have beheld. I could not believe she excelled many, but I have not seen the most precious diamond that is, nor you the lady.
I praised her as I rated her. So do I my stone.
What do you esteem it at?
More than the world enjoys.
Either your unparagoned mistress is dead, or she's outprized by a trifle.
You are mistaken. The one may be sold or given, or if there were wealth enough for the purchases, or merit for the gift. The other is not a thing for sale, and only the gift of the gods.
Which gods have given you?
Which by their graces I will keep.
You may wear her in title yours, but you know strange foul light upon neighboring pawns. Your ring may be stolen too, so your brace of unprizable estimations. The one is but frail, and the other casual. A cunning thief, or a that way accomplished courtier would hazard the winning both of the first and last.
Your Italy contains none so accomplished a courtier to convince the honor of my mistress. If in the holding or loss of that you term her frail, I do nothing doubt you have store of thieves, notwithstanding I fear not my ring.
Let us leave here, gentlemen.
Sir, with all my heart. This worthy signor, I thank him, makes no stranger of me. We are familiar at first.
With 5 times so much conversation, I should get ground of your fair mistress. Make her go back, even to the yielding, had I admittance and opportunity to friend.
No, no.
I dare thereupon pawn the moiety of my estate to your ring, which in my opinion overvalues it something. But I make my wager rather against your confidence than her reputation. And to bar your offense herein too, I durst attempt it against any lady in the world.
You are a great deal abused in too bold a persuasion, and I doubt not you sustain what you are worthy of by your attempt.
Oh, what's that?
A repulse, though your attempt, as you call it, deserve more. A punishment too.
Gentlemen, enough of this. It came in too suddenly. Let it die as it was born, and I pray you be better acquainted.
Would I had put my estate and my neighbors on the approbation of what I have spoke.
What lady would you choose to assail?
Yours, whom in constancy you think stands so safe. I will lay you 10,000 ducats to your ring that commend me to the court where your lady is, with no more advantage than the opportunity of a second conference, and I will bring from thence that honor of hers which you imagine so reserved.
I will wage against your gold. Gold to it. My ring I hold dear as my finger. 'Tis part of it.
You are a friend, and therein the wiser. If you buy lady's flesh at $1,000,000 a dram, you cannot procure it from pressure it from tainting it. But I see you have some religion in you that you fear.
This is but a custom in your tongue. You bear a graver purpose, I hope.
I am the master of my speeches and would undergo what's spoken, I swear.
Will you? I shall but lend my diamond till your return. Let there be covenants drawn between us. My mistress exceeds in goodness the hugeness of your unworthy thinking. I dare you to this match. Here's my ring.
I will have it no lay.
By the god, it is one, huh? If I bring you no sufficient testimony that I have enjoyed the dearest bodily part of your mistress, my 10,000 ducats are yours. So is your diamond too. If I come off and leave her in such honor as you have trust in, she your jewel, this your jewel, and my gold are yours, provided I have your commendation for my more free entertainment.
I embrace these conditions. Let us have articles betwixt us. Only thus far you shall answer if you make your voyage upon her and give me directly to understand you have prevailed. I am no longer your enemy. She is not worth our debate. If she remains unseduced, you not making it appear otherwise, for your ill opinion and the assault you have made to her chastity, you shall answer me with your sword.
Your hand, a covenant. We will have these things set down by lawful counsel and straightway for Britain, lest the bargain should catch cold and starve. I will fetch my gold and have our two wagers recorded.
Agreed.
Will this hold, think you?
Signor Iachimo will not from it. Pray, let us follow them.
While yet the dew's on ground, gather those flowers, make haste. Who has the note of them?
Hi, madam.
Dispatch. Now, Master Doctor, have you brought those drugs?
Please, Your Highness, here they are, madam. But I beseech your grace, without offense, my conscience bids me ask where you have commanded of me these most poisonous compounds, which are the movers of a languishing death, but though slow, deadly.
I wonder, doctor, thou asked me such a question. Have I not been thy pupil long? Hast thou not learned me how to make perfumes, distill, preserve, yea so, that our great king himself doth woo me oft for my confections? Having thus fair proceeded, unless thou thinkest me devilish, is it not meet that I did amplify my judgment in other conclusions? I would try the forces of those that I compound on such creatures as we count not worth the hanging, but none human, to try the vigor of them, and apply elements to their act, and by them gather their several virtues and defects.
Your highness shall from this practice but make hard your heart. Besides, the seeing these effects will be both noisome and infectious.
Oh, content thee. Oh, here comes a flattering rascal. Upon him will I first work. Here's for my master, an enemy to my son. He's for my master, and enemy to my son. Now, Pisanio. Doctor, your service for this time is ended. Take your own way.
I do suspect you, madam, but you shall do no harm.
Hark thee a word.
I do not like her. She doth think she has strange lingering poisons. I do know her spirit, and will not trust one of her malice with a drug of such damn nature. Those she has will stupefy and dull the sense a while, which first perchance shall prove on cats and dogs, then afterwards up higher. But there is no danger in what show of death it makes, more than the locking up of the spirits a time, to be more fresh, reviving. She is fooled with the most false effect, and I, the truer, to be false.
No further service, doctor, until I send for thee.
I humbly take my leave.
Weep she still, sayest thou? Dost thou think in time she will not quench, and let instructions enter where folly now possesses? Do thou work. When thou shalt bring me word she loves my son, I'll tell thee on the instant thou art then as great as is thy master. Greater, for his fortunes all lie speechless, and his name is at last gasp. Return he cannot, nor continue where he is. To shift his being is to exchange one misery with another, and every day that comes to delay a day's work in him. What shalt thou expect to be dependent on a thing that leans, who cannot be new built, nor has no friends, so much as but to prop him? Thou must take up, thou knowest not what, but take it for thy labor. It is a thing I made which hath a king 5 times redeemed from death. I do not know what is more cordial, nay, I prithee take it. It is an earnest of further good that I mean to thee. Tell thy mistress how the case stands with her. Do it as for myself. Think what a chance thou chancest on, but think thou hast thy mistress still, to boot my son, who shall take notice of thee. I'll move the king in any shape of thy preferment, such as thou hast desire, and then myself I chiefly, that set thee onto this desert, am bound to load thy merit richly. Call my women, think on my words. A sly and constant knave not to be shaked, the agent for his master, and the remembrance of her to hold the hand fast to her lord. I have given him that which if he take shall quite unpeople her of ledges for her sweet, and which she after, except she bends her human, shall be assured to taste of thee. Oh, so, well done. The violets, cowslips, and the prime roses. Bear to my closet. Fare thee well, Pisanio. Think on my words.
Yo, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
I hear you.
I don't know what happened. I lost my connection. I don't even know where we are. I just totally got locked out. I don't know where we
We're on bottom of page 27 and shall do.
I apologize. I don't know what the hell just happened. And shall do. So you want me to say that?
Yeah, that's right where we are.
I'm really sorry. So can you?
That's okay, Michael.
So you want me to read that line?
Evan. Thank you, Evan.
So do you want to say, think on my words? Hello? Can nobody hear me?
We can hear you.
What line are we on? Just tell me and I'll say it.
And shall do. The end of page 27. And shall do.
So you just said, think on my words, and shall do. But when to my good Lord I prove untrue, I'll choke myself there, I'll do for you.
Father cruel, and a stepdam false, a foolish suitor to a wedded lady that hath her husband banished. That husband, my supreme crown of grief, and those repeated vexations of it. Had I been thief stolen as my two brothers, happy, but most miserable in the desire that's glorious. Blessed be those, how mean soe'er, that have their honest wills, which see since comfort. Who may this be?
Madam, a noble gentleman of Rome comes from my lord with letters.
Change you, madam. The worthy Leonatus is in safety and greets your highness discreetly.
Thanks, good sir. You're kindly welcome.
All of her that is out of door most rich, if she be furnished with a mind so rare, she is alone the Arabian bird, and I have lost the wager. Boldness be my friend, arm me audacity from head to foot, or like the Parthian, I shall flying fight, rather directly fly.
He is the noblest note, to whose kindness I am most infinitely tied. Reflect upon him accordingly as you value your trust, Leonatus. So far I read aloud, but even the very middle of my heart is warmed by the rest, and take it thankfully. You are as welcome, worthy sir, as I have words to bid you, and shall find it so in all that I can do.
Thanks, fairest lady. What, are men mad? Hath nature given them eyes to see this vaulted arch and the rich crop of sea and land, which can distinguish twixt the fiery orbs above and the twin stones upon the numbered beach? And can we not partition make with the spectacle so precious twixt fair and foul?
What makes your admiration?
It cannot be that in the eye, for apes and monkeys twixt two such sheaves would chatter this way and condemn with mows the other. Nor I the judgment, for idiots in the case of favor would be wisely definite. Nor in the appetite, sluttery to such a neat excellent opposed should make desire a vomit, emptiness, not so alert to feed.
What is the matter, Tro?
The cloyed will, that satiate yet unsatisfied desire, that tub both filled and running, ravening the first lamb, longs after for the garbage.
What, dear sir, thus wraps you? Are you well?
Thanks, madam. Well, beseech you, sir, desire my man's abode, where I did leave him. He's strange and peevish.
Yeah, I was going, sir, to give him welcome.
Continues well, my lord? His health, beseech you?
Well, madam.
Is he disposed to mirth? I hope he is.
exceeding pleasant, none a stranger there. So merry and so gamesome, he is called the Britain Reveler.
When he was here, he did incline to sadness, and oft times not knowing why.
I never saw him sad. Oh, there is a Frenchman, his companion, one an eminent monsieur that seems much loves a galleon girl at home. He furnishes the thick sighs from him, whilst the jolly Briton, your lord, I mean, laughs from free lungs, cries, "Oh, can my sides hold to think that a man who knows by history report or his own proof what woman is, yea, what she cannot choose but must be, wills free hours language for assured bondage."
Will my lord say so?
Aye, madam, with his eyes in flood with laughter. It is a recreation to be by and hear him mock the Frenchman. But heavens knows some men are much to blame.
Well, not he, I hope.
Not he, but yet heaven's bounty towards him might be used more thankfully. In himself, 'tis much. In you, which I count his beyond all talents. Whilst I am bound to wonder, I am bound to pity too.
What do you pity, sir?
Two creatures, heartily.
Am I one, sir? You look on me. What rack discern you in me deserves your pity.
Lamentable. What to hide me from the radiant sun and solace in the dungeon by a snuffle?
I pray you, sir, deliver with more openness your answers to my demands. Why do you pity me?
That others do. I was about to say enjoy your but it is an office of the gods to venge it, not mine to speak on it.
You do seem to know something of me, or what concerns me. Pray you, since doubting things go ill often hurts more than to be sure they do. For certainties either are past remedies, or timely knowing the remedy then born. Discover to me what both you spur and stop.
Had I this cheek to bathe my lips upon, this hand whose every touch would force the feeler's soul to the oath of loyalty, this object which takes prisoner the wild emotion of mine eye, firing it only here should I, damned then, slaver with lips as common as the stairs that mount the Capitol, join gripes with hands made hard with hourly falsehood as with labor, then by peeping in an eye base and illustrious as the smoky light that's fed with stinking tallow. It were fit that all the plagues of hell should at one time encounter such revolt.
My lord, I fear has forgot Britain.
And himself, not I inclined to this intelligence, pronounce the beggary of his change, but 'tis your graces that from my mutest conscience to my tongue charms this report out.
Let me hear no more.
Oh, dearest soul, your cause doth strike my heart with pity that doth make me sick. Oh, lady, so fair and fastened to an empery would make it the greatest king double to be partnered with tomboys hired with that self-exhibition which your own coffers yield, with diseased ventures that play with all infirmities for gold, which rottenness can lend nature. Such boiled stuff as well might poison. Be revenged, or she that bore you was no queen, and you're recoiled from your great stock.
Revenged? How should I be revenged? If this be true, I have such a heart that both mine ears must not in haste abuse. If it be true, how should I be revenged?
Should he make me live like Diana's priest betwixt cold sheets, while he is vaulting variable ramps in your despite upon your purse? Revenge it. I dedicate myself to your sweet pleasure, more noble than the renegade to your bed, and will continue fast to your affection, still close as sure.
What ho, Pisanio?
Oh, let me my service tender to your lips.
Away! I do condemn my ears that so long attended thee. Thou wert honorable, thou wouldst have told this tale for virtue, not for such an end thou seekst, as base as strange. Thou wrongst a gentleman who is as far from thy report as thou from honor, and solicities here a lady that disdains thee and the devil alike. What ho, Pisanio? The king my father shall be made acquainted of thy assault, if he shall think it fit a saucy stranger in his court to mart as in a Romish stew, and to expound his beastly mind to us he hath in court he little cares for, and a daughter who he not respects at all. What ho, Pisanio?
Oh, happy Leonatus, I may say, the credit that thy lady hath of thee deserves thy trust, and thy most perfect goodness her assured credit. Blessed live you long, a lady to the worthiest sir that ever country called his, and you his mistress only for the most worthiest fit. Give me your pardon. I have spoke this to know your affiance were deeply rooted, and shall make your lord that which he is, nor that he is one the truest mannered, such a holy witch that enchants societies into him. Half all men's hearts are his.
You make amends.
He sits amongst men like a defended god. He hath a kind of honor sets him off more than a mortal seeming. Be not angry, most mighty princess, that I have adventured to try your taking of a false report, which hath honored with a confirmation your great judgment, in the election of a sir so rare, which you know cannot err. The love I bear him made me to fan you thus, but the gods made you, unlike all others, chiefless. Pray your pardon.
All's well, sir. Take my power of the court for yours.
My humble thanks. I had almost forgot to entreat your grace, but in a small request, and yet of moment too, for it concerns your lord, myself, and other noble friends are partners in the business.
Pray, what is't?
Some dozen Romans of us and your lord, the best feather of our wing, have mingled sums to buy a present for the emperor, which I, the factor for the rest, have done in France. 'Tis plate of a rare device, and jewels of rich and exquisite form, their values great, and I am something curious, being strange, to have them in the safe stowage. May it please you to take them in protection.
Willingly, and pawn mine honor for their safety, since my lord hath interest in them. I will keep them in my bedchamber.
They are in a trunk and tended by my men. I will make bold to send them to you only for this night. I must board tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I beseech, or I shall short my word by lengthening my return. For from Gallia I crossed the seas on purpose and on promise to see your grace.
I thank you for your pains, but not away tomorrow.
Oh, I must, madam. Therefore I shall beseech you, if you please, to greet your lord with writing. Do tonight I have outstood my time, which is material to the tender of our present.
I will write. Send your trunk to me, it shall be safe kept. And truly yielded you. You're very welcome.
Was there ever man had such luck? When I kiss the jack upon an upcast, may hit away. I had 100 pound on it, and then a horse and jackanapes must take me up for swearing, as if I borrowed mine oaths of him and might not spend them at my pleasure.
What got he by that? You have broke his pate with your bowl.
If his wit had been like him that broke it, it would have run all out.
When a gentleman is disposed to swear, it is not for any standards by to curtail his oaths. Huh?
No, my lord. Nor crop the ears of them.
Horse on dog, I gave him satisfaction. Would he had been one of my rank.
To have smelt like a fool.
I am not vexed more at anything in the earth. Pox on it, I had rather not be so noble as I am. They dare not fight with me because of the queen, my mother. Every jack slave hath his belly full of fighting, and I must go up and down like a cock that nobody can match.
You are a cock and a capon too, and you crow cock with your comb on.
Say'st thou?
It is not fit your lordship should undertake every companion that you give offense to.
No, I know that. But is it fit I should commit offense to my inferiors?
Aye, it is fit for your lordship only.
Why, so I say.
Did you hear of a stranger that's come to court night?
A stranger, and I not know it?
He's a strange fellow himself and knows it not.
There's an Italian come, and 'tis thought one of Leonato's friends.
Leonatus, a banished rascal, he's another whosoever he be. Who told you of this stranger?
One of your lordship's pages.
Is it fit I went to look upon him? Is there no derogation in it?
You cannot derogate, my lord.
Not easy, I think.
You are a fool, granted, therefore your issues, being foolish, do not derogate.
Come, I'll go see this Italian. What I have lost today at bowls, I'll win tonight of him. Come, go!
I'll attend your lordship. That such a crafty devil as his mother should yield the world this ass, a woman that bears all down with her brain, and this her son cannot take 2 from 20 for his heart and leave 18. Alas, poor princess, thou divine Imogen, what thou endurest betwixt a father by thy stepdame governed, a mother hourly coining plots, a wooer more hateful than the foul expulsion is of thy dear husband, than that horrid act of the divorce held make. The heavens hold firm the walls of thy dear honor. Keep unshaked that temple, thy fair mind, that thou mayest stand to enjoy thy banished lord and this great land.
Who's there? My woman, Helena?
Madam?
What hour is it?
Almost midnight, madam.
I have read 3 hours then. Oh, mine eyes are weak. Fold down the leaf where I have left. To bed. Oh, take not the taper away, leave it burning. If thou canst wake by 4 the clock, I prithee call me. Sleep hath seized me wholly. To your protection I commend me, gods. From fairies and the tempters of the night. Guard me, beseech ye.
The crickets sing, and man's o'er-labored sense repairs itself by rest. Our Tarquin thus did softly press the rushes ere he wakened the chastity he wound. Ah, Cytherea, how bravely thou becomest thy bed. Fresh lily, and whiter than the sheets that I might touch. But kiss. One kiss. Ruby is unparagoned. How dearly they do it. 'Tis her breathing that perfumes the chamber thus. The flame of the taper bows toward her, and would underpeep her lids to see the enclosed lights now canopied under these windows, white and azure lacked with blow of heaven's own tinct. But my design, to note the chamber, I will write all down, such and such pictures. There the windows, such the adornment of her bed, the ara, figures, why such and such, the contents of the story. But some natural notes about her body. Above 10,000 mina movables would testify to enrich mine inventory. Sleep, thou ape of death, lie dull upon her, and be her sense but as a monument. Thus in a chapel lying, come off, as slippery as the Gordian knot was hard, 'tis mine, and this will witness outwardly, as strongly as the conscience does within, to the maddening of her lord. On her left breast, a mole of sunk spotted, like the crimson drops in the bottom of a cowslip. Here's a voucher stronger than ever law could make. This secret will force him think I have picked the lock and ta'en the treasure of her honor. No more, to what end? Why should I write this down that's riveted, screwed to my memory? She hath been reading late the Tale of Darius. Here in the leaves turned down where the Philomel gave up. I have enough. To the trunk again, and shut the spring of it. Swift, swift, you dragons of the night, that dawning may bear the raven's eye. I lodge in fear, though this a heavenly angel. Hell is here. 1, 2, 3. Time.
Your lordship is the most patient man in loss, the most coldest that ever turned up ace.
It would make any man cold to lose.
But not every man patient after the noble temper of your lordship. You are most hot and furious when you win.
Winning will put any man into courage. If I could get this foolish Imogen, I should have gold enough. It's almost morning, is it not?
Day, my lord.
I would this music would come. I am advised to give her music a mornings. I say it will penetrate. Come on, tune. If you can penetrate her with your fingering, so we'll try with tongue too. If none will do it, let her remain, but I'll never give o'er. First, a very excellent, good, conceited thing. After, a wonderful, sweet air with admirable, rich words to it, and then let her consider.
I need a third hand. We'll do it a cappella, sir. Hark, hark, the lark at heaven's gate sings. Phoebus gives a rise. Sorry. Her steeds to water at the springs. Don't, please, it's serious. On shallowed flowers that lies chaliced. Winking moths, can't read this. Buds begin to open their golden eyes. With everything that pretty is my lady sweet, arise. Sir, arise.
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 Get you gone. If this penetrate, I will consider your music the better.
Yes, sir.
If it do not, it is a voice in her ears which horsehairs and calves' ducks, not the voice of unpaged eunuch to boot, can never amend.
Here comes the king.
I am glad I was up so late, for that's the reason I was up so early. he cannot choose but take this service I have done fatherly. Good morrow to your majesty and to my gracious mother.
Can you hear the door of our stern daughter? Will she not forth?
I have assailed her with music, but she vouchsafed no notice.
The exile of her minion is too new. She hath not yet forgot him. Some more time must wear the print of his remembrance on't, and then she's yours.
You are most bound to the king, who lets go by no vantages that may prefer you to his daughter. Frame yourself to orderly solicity, and be friended with aptness of the season. Make denials, increase your services, so seem as if you were inspired to do those duties which you tended to her, that you and all obey her, save when command to your dismission tends, and therein you are senseless.
Senseless? Not so.
So like you, sir, ambassadors from Rome. This one's Caius Lucius.
A worthy fellow, albeit he comes on angry purpose now. But that's no fault of his. We must receive him according to the honor of his sender. And towards himself, his goodness forspent on us, we must extend our notice. Our dear son, when you have given good morning to your mistress, attend the queen and us. We shall have need to employ you towards this Roman. Come, our queen.
If she be up, I'll speak with her. If not, let her lie still and dream. By your leave, I know her women are about her. What if I do line one of their hands? 'Tis gold which buys admittance off it doth, yea, and makes Diana's rangers false themselves yield up their deer to the stand of the stalker, and 'tis gold which makes the true man killed and saves the thief. Nay, sometimes hangs both thief and true man. What can it not do and undo? I will make one of her women loyal to me, for I yet not understand the case of myself. By your leave.
Who's there that knocks?
Gentlemen.
Oh, no more.
Yes, and a gentlewoman's son.
That's more than some whose tailors are as dear as yours can justly boast of. What's your lordship's pleasure?
Your lady's person, is she ready?
Aye, to keep her chamber.
There is gold for you. Sell me your good report.
Oh, my good name, or to report of you what I shall think is good. The princess.
Good morrow, fairest. Sister, your sweet hat.
Good morrow, sir. You lay out too much pains for purchasing but trouble. The thanks I give is telling you that I am poor of thanks and scarce can spare them.
Still, I swear I love you.
If you but said so, 'twere as deep with me. If you swear still, your recompense is still that I regard it not.
This is no answer.
But that you shall not stay, I yield being silent, I would not speak. I pray you, spare me. Faith, I shall unfold equal discourtesy to your best kindness. One of your great knowing should learn, being taught, forbearance.
To leave you in your madness twere my sin, I will not.
Fools are not mad folks.
Do you call me fool?
As I am mad, I do. If you'll be patient, I'll no more be mad. That cures us both. I am much sorry, sir, you put me to forget a lady's manners by being so verbal, and learn now for all that I which know my heart do here pronounce by the very truth of it, I care not for you, and am so near the lack of charity to accuse myself I hate you, which I had rather you felt than make my boast.
You sin against obedience, which you owe your father for the contract you pretend with that base wretch one bread of alms and fostered with cold dishes, but with scraps of the court. It is no contract, none. And though it be allowed in meaner parties, yet who then he more mean to knit their souls, on whom there is no more dependency but brats and beggary, in self figured not. Yet you are curbed from that enlargement by the consequence of the crown, and must not soil the precious note of it with a base slave, a hilding for a livery, a squire's cloth, a pantlet, not so eminent.
Profane fellow, wert thou the son of Jupiter and no more, but what thou art besides, thou wert too base to be his groom. Thou wert dignified enough even to the point of envy, if 'twere made comparative for your virtues, to be stilled the underhangman of his kingdom and hatred for being preferred so well.
South dog rot him!
He never can meet more mischance than come to be but named of thee. His meanest garment that ever hath but clipped his body is dearer in my respect than all the heirs above thee, were they all made such men. How now, Pisanio?
His garments? Now the devil!
To Dorothy, my woman, hie thee presently.
His garment?
I am sprited with a fool, frighted and angered worse. Go bid my woman search for my jewel that too casually hath left mine arm. It was thy master's. True me, if I would lose it for a revenue of any kings in Europe. I do think I saw it this morning. Confident I am, last night 'twas on mine arm. I kissed it. I hope it not be gone. To tell my lord that I kissed aught but he.
It will not be lost.
I hope so. Go and search.
You have abused me. His meanest garment?
I said so, sir. If you will make an action, call witness to it.
Will inform your father.
Your mother too. She's my good lady, and will conceive, I hope, but the worst of me. So I leave you, sir, to the worst of discontent.
I'll be revenged. His meanest garment. Well,
fear it not, sir. I would I were so sure to win the king. As I am bold, her honor will remain hers.
What means do you make to him?
Not any, but abide the change of time, quake in the present winter state, and wish that warmer days would come. In these feared hopes, I barely gratify your love. They failing, I must die much your debtor.
Your very goodness and your company o'erpays all I can do. By this your king hath heard of great Augustus. Caius Lucius will do's commission thoroughly, and I think he'll grant the tribute, send the arrearages, or look upon our Romans, whose remembrance is yet fresh in their grief.
I do believe, Statius, though I am none nor like to be, that this will prove a war, and you shall hear the legion now in Gallia, sooner landed in our not fearing Britain, than have tidings of any penny tribute paid. Our countrymen are men more ordered than when Julius Caesar smiled at their lack of skill, but found their courage worthy his frowning at. Their discipline, now winged with their courages, will make known to their approvers they are people such that mend upon the world.
Si, Iachimo.
The swiftest hearts have posted you by land, and winds of all the corners kiss your sails to make your vessel nimble.
Welcome, sir.
I hope the briefness of your answers made the speediness of your return.
Your lady is one of the fairest that I have looked upon.
And therewithal the best, or let her beauty look thorough, a casement to allure false hearts, and be false with them.
Here are letters for you.
Their tenure good, I trust?
'Tis very like.
Was Caius Lucius in the Britain court when you were there?
He was expected then, but not approached.
All is well yet. Sparkles this stone as it was wont, or is not too dull for your good wearing?
If I have lost it, I should have lost the worth of it in gold. I'll make a journey twice as far to enjoy a second night of such sweet shortness, which was mine in Britain, for the ring is won.
The stone's too hard to come by.
Not a whit, your lady being so easy.
Make note, sir. Your loss, your sport. I hope you know that we must not continue friends.
Good sir, we must if you keep covenant. Had I not brought the knowledge of your mistress home, I grant we were to question farther. But I now profess myself the winner of her honor together with your ring, and not the wronger of her or you having proceeded, but by both your wills.
If you can make it apparent that you have tasted her in bed, my hand and ring is yours. If not, the foul opinion you had of her pure honor, gains or losses, your sword or mine, or masterless, leave both to who shall find them.
Sir, my circumstances being so near to the truth as I will make them, must first induce you to believe, whose strength I will confirm with oath, which I doubt not you'll give me leave to spare when you shall find you need it not.
Proceed.
First, her bedchamber, where I confessed I slept not, but profess had that was well worth watching. It was hanged with tapestry of silk and silver, the story proud of Cleopatra when she met her Roman, and Cydnus swelled above the banks, or for the press of boats or pride, a piece of work so bravely done, so rich that it did strive in workmanship and value, which I wondered could be so rarely and exactly wrought, since the true life on't was.
This is true, and this you might have heard of here by me or by some other.
More particulars must justify my knowledge.
So they must, or do your honor injury.
The chimney is south of the chamber, and the chimneyed piece chased Diane bathing. Never saw I figures so likely to report themselves. The cutter was at another nature dumb, out went her motion and breath left out.
This is a thing which you might from relation likewise reap, being as it is much spoke of.
The roof of the chamber with golden cherubims is fretted. Her anderons, I had forgot them, were two winking cupids of silver, each on one foot, standing nicely, depending on their brands.
This is her honor. Let it be granted you have seen all this, and praise be given to your remembrance. The description of what is in her chamber. Nothing saves the wager you have laid.
Then if you can, be pale, I beg you, but leave to air this jewel. See, and now 'tis up again. It must be married to that your diamond. I'll keep them.
Jove, once more let me behold it. Is it that which I left with her?
Sir, I thank her that she stripped it from her arm. I see her yet. Her pretty action did outsell her gift, and yet enriched it too. Oh, she gave it me and said she prized it once.
Maybe she plucked it off to send it me.
Oh, she writes so to you, doth she?
Oh, no, 'tis true. Here, take this too. It is a basilisk unto mine eye. Kills me to look on it. Let there be no honor where there is beauty, truth, where semblance, love, where there's another man. The vows of women are no more bondage be to where they are made than there are to their virtues, which have nothing. Oh, above measure false!
Have patience, sir, and take your ring again. 'Tis not yet won. It may be probable she lost it, or who knows if one of her women being corrupted hath stolen it from her.
Very true. And so I hope he came by it. Back my ring. Render to me some corporal sign about her, more evident than this. For this was stolen.
By Jupiter, I had it from her arm.
Hark you, he swears. By Jupiter, he swears. 'Tis true. Nay, keep the ring. 'Tis true. I am sure she would not lose it. Her attendants are all sworn and honorable. They induced to steal it, and by a stranger. No, he hath enjoyed her. The cognizance of her incontinency is this. She hath brought the name of whore, thus dearly. There, take thy hire, and all the fiends of hell divide themselves between you.
Sir, be patient. This is not strong enough to be believed of one persuaded well of...
Never talk on it. She hath been courted by him.
If you seek further satisfying under her breast, worthy her pressing, lies a mole, right proud of that most delicate lodging. By my life, I kissed it, and it gave me present hunger to feed again, though full. You do remember the stain upon her?
And it doth confirm another stain, as big as hell can hold. Were there no more but it?
Will you hear more?
Spare your arithmetic. Never count the turns. Once and a million.
I'll be sworn.
No swearing. If you will swear, you have not done it. You lie, and I will kill thee. If thou dost deny thou made me cuckold.
I'll deny nothing.
Oh, that I had her here to tear her limb meal. I will go there and do it in the court before her father. I'll do something.
Quite besides the government of patience, you have won. Let's follow him and pervert the present wrath he hath against himself.
With all my heart.
Is there no way for men to be, but women must be half workers? We are all bastards. And that most venerable man, which I did call my father, was, I know not where, when I was stamped. Some coiner with his tools made me a counterfeit. Yet my mother seemed the dying of her time. So doth my wife, the non-parallel of this. Oh, vengeance, vengeance! Me of my lawful pleasure she restrained, and prayed me of forbearance. Did it with a prudence so rosy, the sweet view on it might well have warmed old Saturn. that I thought her as chaste as unsung snow. Oh, all the devils! This yellow Iachimo in the house in an hour was not, unless at first, perchance he spoke not, but like a full acorn bore a jarman on, cried, oh, and mounted, found no opposition, but what he looked for should oppose, and she should from encounter God. Could I find out the woman's part in me? For there's no motion that tends to vice in man, but I affirm it is the woman's part. Be it lying, note it, the woman's flattering, hers deceiving, hers lust and rank thoughts, hers revenges, hers ambitions, covetings, change of pride, disdain, nice lodgings, slanders, mutability, all forth that name, nay, that hell knows. Why, hers in part or all, but rather all. For even to vice, they are not constant, but are changing still. One vice, but of a minute old, for one not half so old as that. I'll write against them, detest them, curse them. Yet 'tis greater skill in a true hate to pray they have their will. The very devils cannot plague them better.
Now say, what would Augustus Caesar with us?
When Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes, and will to ears and tongues be theme and hearing ever, was in this Britain and conquered it, Cymbeline, thine uncle, famous in Caesar's praises, no whit less than in his feats deserving it, for him and his succession granted Rome a tribute, yearly £3,000, which by thee lately is left untendered.
And to kill the marble shall be so ever.
There be many Caesars, ere such another Julius. Britain's a world by itself, and we will nothing pay for wearing our own noses.
That opportunity which then they had to take from us to resume, we have again. Remember, Sir, my liege, the kings, your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of your isle, which stands as Neptune's park, ribbed and paled in with oaks unshakable, and roaring waters with sands that will not bear your enemies' boats, but suck them up the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, but made not here his brag of came and saw and overcame. With shame the thirst that ever touched him. He was carried from off our coast, twice beaten, and his shipping, poor ignorant baubles, on our terrible seas like eggshells moved upon their surges, cracked as easily against our rocks. For joy whereof the famed Cymbeline, who was once a point on Giglet fortune to Master Caesar's sword, made Lud's town with rejoicing fires bright, and Britain struck with courage.
There's no more tribute to be paid. Our kingdom is stronger than it was at that time. And as I said, there is no more such Caesars. Other of them may have crooked noses, but to owe such straight arms, none.
Son, let your mother end.
We have yet many among us can grip as hard as Cymbeline. I do not say I am one, but I have a hand. Why tribute? Why should we pay tribute? If Caesar can hide the sun from us with a blanket, or put the moon in his pocket, we will pay him tribute for light. Else, sir, no more tribute, pray you now.
You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swells so much that it did almost stretch the sides of the world, against all color here did put the yoke upon us, which to shake off becomes a warlike people whom we reckon ourselves to be. Say then to Caesar, our ancestor was that Mulmutius, which ordained our laws, whose use the sword of Caesar hath too much mangled, whose repair and franchise shall by the power we hold be our good deed, though Rome be therefore angry. Mulmutius made our laws, who was the first of Britain, which did put his brows within a golden crown and called himself a king.
I am sorry, Cymbeline, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar, Caesar that hath more kings his servants than thyself domestic officers, thine enemy. Receive it from me then. War and confusion in Caesar's name pronounce I against thee. Look, for fury not to be resisted, thus defied, I thank thee for myself.
Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me. My youth I spent much under him. Of him I gathered honor, which he to seek of me again perforce behooves me keep at utterance. I am perfect that the Pannonians and Dalmatians for their liberties are now in arms. A president, which not to read, would show the Britons cold. So Caesar shall not fight me.
Let proof speak.
His Majesty bids you welcome. Make pastime with us a day or two or longer. If you seek us afterwards in other terms, you shall find us in our saltwater girdle. If you beat us out of it, it is yours. If you fall in the adventures, our crows shall fare the better for you, and there's an end.
So, sir.
I know your master's pleasure, and he mine. All the remain is welcome.
Excuse me, can I just say one thing, everybody? I should have said this before. We will take like a 5-minute break between Act 3, Scene 5 and Act 3, Scene 6. And right now we're beginning Act 3, Scene 2. And at that point, we will be 55% through. It's a long play. And we will now resume Act 3, Scene 2. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't say it before. 5-minute break in a while. Thank you. Bye. You do it amazingly. Bye.
How? Of adultery? Wherefore write you not what monsters her accuse? Leonatus. Oh, master, what a strange infection has fallen into thine ear. What false Italian, as poisoned tongue is handed, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No, she's punished for her truth, and undergoes more goddess-like than wife-like such assaults as would take in some virtue. Oh, my master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How? That I should murder her upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command? I, her blood? If it be so to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How look I that I should seem to lack humanity so much as this fact comes to it? Do it. The letter that I have sent her by her own command shall give the opportunity. Ah, damn paper! Black as the ink that's on these senseless bauble. Art thou a feudary for this act, and look so virgin-like without? Oh, here she comes. I am ignorant in what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam, here is a letter from my lord.
Who thy lord? That is my lord, Leonatus. Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that knew the stars, as I his characters. He'll lay the future open. Oh, you good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable, that is one of them. for it doth take physic love of his content, all but in that. Oh, good wax, thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike. Though forfeitures you cast in prison, yet you clasp in young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you, oh, the dearest of creatures, would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria and Milford on Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you, follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and your increasing love, Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings, hearest thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read, and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of means affairs may plot it in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then true, Pisanio, who longst like me to see thy lord, who longst, oh, let me bait, but not like me, yet longst but in a fainter kind, oh, not like me, for mine's beyond. Say, and speak thick, love's counselor shall fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the sense, how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how may we steal from hence? And for the gap that we shall make in time from our hence going and our return to excuse. But first, how got hence? Why should excuse be born or ere be got? We'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee, speak! How many store of miles may we well ride twixt hour and hour?
1 score twixt sun and sun, madam's enough for you, and too much too.
Why, one that rode 'tis execution, man, could never go so slow. I have heard of riding wagers where horses have been nimbler than the sands that run o' the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go, bid my woman feign a sickness, say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than would fit a Franklin's housewife.
Madam, your best consider.
I see before me, man, not here, nor what ensues, but have a fog in them that I cannot look through. Away, I prithee do as I bid thee. There is no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way.
A goodly day not to keep house with such whose roof as low as ours. Sleep, boys. This gate instructs you how to adore the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy office. The gates of monarchs are arched so high that giants may jet through and keep their impious turbans on. Thou good morrow to the sun. Hail, thou fair heaven. We house thee the rock, yet use thee not so hardly as prouder livers do.
Hail heaven.
Hail heaven.
Now for our mountain sport. Up yond hill, your legs are young. I'll tread these flats. Consider when you above perceive me like a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off, and you may then resolve what tales I have told you, of courts, of princes, of the tricks in war. This service is not service so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us a profit from all things we see, and often to our comfort we shall find the sharded beetle in a safer hold than is the full-winged eagle. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a babe, prouder than rustling in unpaid-for silk. Such gain the cap of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed. No life to ours.
Out of your proof you speak. We poor unfledged have never winged from view of the nest, nor knows not what airs from home. Haply this life is best, if quiet life be best, sweeter to you that have a sharper known. Well corresponding with your stiff age, but unto us it is a cell of ignorance, travailing a bed, a prison, or a debtor that not dares to stride a limit.
What shall we speak of when we are old as you? When we shall hear the rain and wind beat dark December? How in this our pinching cave shall we discourse the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtle as the fox for prey, like warlike as the wolf, for what we eat. Our valor is to chase what flies. Our cage we make acquire as doth the prisoned bird, and sing our bondage freely.
How you speak! Did you but know the city's usuries and felt them knowingly? The art of the court as hard to leave as keep, whose top to climb is certain falling, or so slippery that the fear's as bad as falling. The toil of the war, a pain that only seems to seek out danger in the name of fame and honor, which dies in the search, and hath as oft of slanderous epitaph as record of fair act. Nay, many times doth ill deserve by doing well. What's worst must curtsy at the censure. Oh, boys, this story the world may read in me. My body is marked with Roman swords, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me, and when a soldier was the theme, my name was not far off. Then was I as a tree whose boughs did bend with fruit. But in one night, a storm or robbery, call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and left me bare to weather.
Oh, uncertain favor!
My fault being nothing, as I have told you oft, but that two villains, whose false oaths prevailed before my perfect honor, swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment. And these 20 years, this rock and these demesnes have been my world, where I have lived an honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the forend of my life. But up to the mountains, this is not hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be the lord of the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison which attends in place of greater state. I'll meet you in the valleys. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature. These boys know little they are sons to the king. Not Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly in the cave, whereon the bough their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it, much beyond the trick of others. This Palador, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Darius, Jove, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats that I have done, his spirits fly out into my story. Say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on's neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek. He sweats, strains his young nerves, and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwal, once Arviragus, is as like a figure, strikes life into my speech, and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is roused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession, as thou reft me of my lands. Euryphile, thou wast their nurse, they took thee for their mother, and every day do honor to her grave. Myself, Belarius, that am Mergan called, they take for natural father. The game is up.
Thou toldst me when we came from horse, ye place was near at hand. Ne'er longed my mother so to see me first as I have now, Pisanio. And where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from the inward of thee? One but painted would be interpreted a thing perplexed beyond self-explication. Put thyself into a havior of less fear, ere wildness vanquish my stater senses. What's the matter? Why tenderest thou that paper to me with a look untender? If it be summer news, smile too before. If winterly, thou needst but keep that countenance still. My husband's hand. That drug damned Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man. Thy tongue may take off some extremity, which to read would be even mortal to me.
Please, you read, and you shall find me a wretched man, a thing the most disdained of fortune.
Thy mistress, Bassanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed. The testimonies whereof lies bleeding in me. I speak not out of weak surmises, but from the proof as strong as my grief and as certain as I expect my revenge. That part thou, Bassanio, must act for me, if thy faith be not tainted with the breach of hers. Let thine own hands take away her life. I shall give thee opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose, where if thou fear to strike and to make me certain it is done, thou art the pander of her dishonor and equally to me disloyal.
What shall I need to draw my sword? The paper has cut her throat already. No, 'tis slander, whose edge is sharper than a sword, whose tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile, whose breath rides on the posting winds and doth belie all corners of the world. Kings, queens, and states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave this viper slander enters. What cheer, madam?
False day's bed. What is it to be false? To lie and watch there and to think on him? To weep twixt clock and clock in its sleep-charged nature, to break it with a fearful dream of him and cry myself awake. That's false to his bed, is it?
Alas, good lady.
Aye, false. Thy conscience witness, Iachimo, thou didst accuse him of inconstancy. Thou then look'st like a villain. Now methinks thy favour's good enough. Some jade of Italy, whose mother writes her painting, hath betrayed him. For I am stale, a garment out of fashion, and for I am richer than to hang by the walls, I must be ripped to pieces with me. Oh, men's vows are women's traitors. All good seeming by thy revolt, O husband, shall be thought put on for villainy, not born where it grows, but worn a bait for ladies.
Good madam, hear me.
True honest men being heard, like false Aeneas, were in this time thought false, and Sinon's weeping did scandal many a holy tear, to pity from the most true rigidness. So thou, Posthumus, wilt lay the leaven on all proper men. Goodly and gallant shall be false and perjured from thy great fail. Dumb fellow, be thou honest, do thy master's bidding. When thou seest him, a little witness thy obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself, take it, and hit the innocent mansion of my love, my heart. Fear not, 'tis empty of all things but grief. Thy master is not there, who was indeed the riches of it. Do his bidding, strike! Thou mayst be valiant in a better cause, but now thou seemst a coward.
Some vile instrument! Thou shalt not damn my hand!
Why, I must die. If I do not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. And against self-slaughter there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Come, here is my heart. Oh, something's afoot. Soft will no defense, obedient as the scabbard. What is he here? The scriptures of the loyal Leonatus, all turned to heresy. Away, away, corrupters of my faith, you shall no more be stomachers to my heart. Lest may poor fools believe false teachers. Though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply, yet the traitor stands in worst case of woe. And thou, Posthumus, that didst set up my disobedience against the king my father, and makes me put into contempt the suits of princely fellows, shalt hereafter find it is no act of common passage, but a strain of rareness. And I grieve myself to think when thou shalt be disedged by her, and now triest on, oh, the memory will be hanged by me. Prithee, dispatch. The lamb entreats the butcher, where's thy knife? Thou art too slow to do thy master's bidding when I desire it to.
A gracious lady, since I received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink.
Do it! And to bed then!
Awake mine eyeballs first.
Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretense? This place, mine action and thine own, our horses' labor, the time in fighting me. The perturbed court for my being absent, whereunto I never purpose return. Why hast thou gone so far to be unbent, when thou hast ta'en thy stand, the elected dear before thee?
Because but to win time, to lose so bad employment, in the which I have considered of a course, good lady. Hear me with patience.
Talk thy tongue weary, speak. I have heard I am a strumpet, and mine ear therein false struck, can take no greater wound, nor tent to bottom that, but speak.
Then, madam, I thought you would not back again.
Most like bringing me here to kill me.
No, not so neither. But if I were as wise as honest then, my purpose would prove well. It cannot be that my master is abused. Some villain, I and singular, in his act, has done both you both this cursed injury.
Some Roman courtesan?
No, on my life, I'll give you but notice you are dead, and send him some bloody sign of it, for 'tis commanded I should do so. You shall be missed at court, and that will well confirm it.
Why, good fellow, what shall I do the while? Where bide? How live? Or in my life what comfort, when I am dead to my husband?
Go back to the court.
No court. No father, no more ado with that harsh, noble, simple nothing, that clotton, whose love suit hath been to me as fearful as a siege.
If not at court, then not in Britain must you bide.
Where then? Hath Britain all the sun that shines? Day, night? Are they not but in Britain? The world's volume, our Britain seems as of it, but not in't. In a great pool, a swan's nest. Prithee, think, there's livers out of Britain.
I am most glad you think of other place. The ambassador, Lucius, the Roman, comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you could wear a mind dark as your fortune is, and but disguise that which to appear itself must not yet be but by self-danger, you should tread a course pretty and full view, yea, happily near the residence of Posthumus. So nigh at least that through his actions, though were not visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear as truly as he moves.
Oh, for such means, though peril to my modesty, not death on it, I would adventure.
Well, then here's the point. You must forget to be a woman. Change command into obedience. Fear and niceness, the handmaids of all women, or more truly, women at pretty self, into a waggish courage, ready in jibes, quick-answered, saucy, and as quarrelsome as the weasel. Nay, you must forget that rarest treasure of your cheek, exposing it, although the harder heart'll lack no remedy to the greedy touch of common kissing Titan. And forget your laborsome and dainty trims, wherein you made great Juno angry.
Nay, be brief. I see into the end, and am almost a man already.
First, make yourself but like one. For thinking this, I have already fit. 'Tis in my cloak bag. Doublet, hat, hose, all that answer to them. Would you in their serving, as with what imitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, for noble Lucius present yourself, desire his service, tell him wherein you're happy, which will make him know if that his head have ear and music, doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he is honorable, and doubling that most holy. Your means abroad, you have me rich, and I will never fail beginning nor supplyment.
Thou art all the comfort the gods will diet me with. Prithee, away, there's more to be considered, but will even all that good time will give us. This attempt, I am soldier too, and will abide it with a prince's courage. Away, I prithee.
Well, madam, we must take a short farewell, lest being missed I be suspected of your carriage from the court. But my noble mistress, here's a box. I had it from the queen. What's in it is precious. If you are sick at sea or stomach qualm at land, a dram of this will drive away distemper. Just some shade now, and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best.
Amen. I thank thee.
Thus far, and so farewell.
Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote I must from hence, and I am right sorry that I must report you my master's enemy.
Our subjects, sir, will not endure his yoke, and for ourselves to show less sovereignty than they must needs appear unkinglike.
So, sir, I desire of your conduct overland to Milford Haven. Madam, all joy before your grace.
My lords, you are appointed for that office. The due of honor in no point omit. So farewell, noble Lucius.
Your hand, my lord.
Receive it friendly. From this time forth, I wear it as your enemy.
Sir, the event is yet to name the winner. Fare you well.
Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till he have crossed the Severn. Happiness.
He goes hence frowning, but it honors us that we have given him cause.
'Tis all the better. Your valiant Britons have their wishes in it.
Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how it goes here. It fits us therefore ripely, our chariots and our horsemen be in readiness. The powers that he already hath in Gallia will soon be drawn to head, from whence he moves his war for Britain.
'Tis not sleepy business, but must be looked to speedily and strongly.
Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. My gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tendered the duty of the day. She looketh like a thing more made of malice than of duty. We have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance.
Well, sir, since the exile of Posthumus, most retired hath her life been. The cure where, my lord, 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty forbear sharp speeches to her. She's a lady, so tender of your rebukes that words are stroke, and strokes death to her.
Where is she, sir? How can her contempt be answered?
Please you, sir, her chambers are all locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loudest of noise we make.
My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me to excuse her keeping close, whereto constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you, which daily she was bound to proffer. This she wished me to make known, but our great court may be to blame in memory.
The doors locked, not seen of late? Red heavens, that which I fear prove false.
Son, I say, follow the king.
That man of hers, Tiziano, her old servant, I have not seen these 2 days.
Go look after. Bassanio, thou that standest so for Posthumus, he hath a drug of mine. I pray his absence proceed by swallowing that for he believes it a thing most precious. But for her, where is she gone? Happily despair hath seized her, or winged with fervor of her love, she's flown to her desired posthumous. Gone she is to death or to dishonor, and my end can make good use of either. She being down, I had the placing of the British crown. How now, my son?
'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king. He rages. None dare come about him.
Oh, all the better. May this night forestall him of the coming day.
I love her and hate her. For she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly parts more exquisite than ladies, woman. From everyone the best she hath, and she, of all compounded, outsells them all. I love her, therefore, but disdaining me and throwing favors on the low, posthumous, slender so her judgment that's what's else rare is choked. And in that point, I will conclude to hate her, nay, indeed, to be revenged upon her. For when fools shall, who is here? What are you packing, Sarah? Come hither. You precious panderer, villain, where is thy lady? In a word, or else thou art straightway with the fiends.
Oh, good my lord.
Where is thy lady? Oh, by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Close villain, I'll have this secret from thy heart, or rip thy heart to find it. Is she with Posthumus? From whom so many weights of baseness cannot a dram of worth be drawn?
Alas, my lord, how can she be with him? When was she missed? He is in Rome.
Where is she, sir? Come nearer. No farther halting. Satisfy me home. What is become of her?
Oh, my all-worthy lord.
All-worthy villain, discover where thy mistress is. At once, at the next word, no more of worthy lord. Speak, or thy silence on the instance is thy condemnation and thy death.
Oh, then, sir, this paper is the history of my knowledge touching her flight.
Let's see it. I will pursue her even to Augustus' throne.
Or this, or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travel, not her danger. All right, to my lord, she's dead. Oh, Imogen, safe mayest thou wander, safe return again.
Sir, Sarah, is this letter true?
Sir, as I think.
It is Posthumus' hand, I know it. Sarah, if thou wouldst not be a villain, but do me true service, undergo those employments wherein I should have cause to use thee with a serious industry. That is, what villainy soe'er I bid thee to perform it correctly and truly, I would think thee an honest man. Thou shouldst neither want my means for thy relief, nor my voice for thy preferment.
Well, my good lord.
Wilt thou serve me? For since patiently and constantly thou hast stuck to the bare fortune of that beggar Posthumus, thou canst not in the course of gratitude but be a diligent follower of mine. Wilt thou serve me?
Sir, I will.
Give me thy hand, here's my purse. Hast any of thy late master's garments in thy possession?
I have, my lord, at my lodging the same suit he wore when he took leave of my lady and mistress.
The first service thou doest me, fetch that suit hither, let it be thy first service, go.
I shall, my lord.
Meet thee at Milford Haven. I forgot to ask him one thing. I'll remember it anon. Even there, thou villain Posthumus, will I kill thee. I would these garments were come. She said upon a time, the bitterness of it I now belch from my heart, that she held the very garments of Posthumus in more respect than my noble and natural person, together with the adornment of my qualities. With that suit upon my back, will I ravish her. First kill him, and in her eyes, there shall she see my valor, which will then be a torment to her contempt. He on the ground, my speech of insolent ended on his dead body. And when my lust hath dined, which as I say to vex her, I will execute in the clothes that she so praised. To the court I'll knock her back, put her home again. She hath despised me rejoicingly, and I'll be merry in my revenge. Be those the garments?
Aye, my noble lord.
How long is since she went to Milford Haven?
She can scarce be there yet.
Bring this apparel to my chamber. That is the second thing that I have commanded thee. The third is that thou wilt be a voluntary mute to my design. Be but duteous, and true preferment shall tender itself to thee. My revenge is now at Milford. Would I had wings to follow it. Come and be true.
Thou biddest me to my loss for true to thee, or to prove false, which I will never be. To him that is most true. To Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow, you heavenly blessings on her. This full speed be crossed with slowness. Labor be his meed.
All right. Oh, Lord. So 5-minute break, please, y'all. Oh, man.
Thank you, 5.
Thank you, guys.
Why did I just screw that last part up? I
Whoa.
rehearsed that part. I did that last part so terribly.
Oh, you
You're
did it.
marvelous, Michael.
Let me do it over.
Don't be such a perfectionist. Oh, y'all.
No, I just
Mike, man, you're awesome.
Let me read it
No
again.
more for me, so I'm gone. I'm going to start.
The biddest me
Mark,
to
you are. Mark, I'm dying
loss
laughing.
to thee were to
Mark,
be
I'm dying
truthful.
laughing, Mark. I'm dying. That crown really. Oh,
Biddest me to my
God.
loss
You feel for the poor schmuck too.
Yes, of course.
Everybody, we're 55% through. It's one of the longest of the plays. I think Hamlet, Richard III, and Antony Cleopatra are only among how long this one is.
Thou
So
biddest me to my loss.
we're gonna end, if we're lucky, 4:45. We're 55% through,
Thou
so
biddest me to my loss, for true to thee were to be false.
4 more
Will
minutes.
be to him that is most true. It should be all one thought. Thou biddest me to my loss, for true to thee were to prove false, which I will never be to him that is most true.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
next time. you'll get it.
You're still magnificent, Michael. You're still magnificent. As always, and everybody is. I did a dang good job of casting this one, didn't I?
Yes.
But, oh God, Christina, I was crying. I was crying. Let's see. Brought by memories when I did it. But you are, I always have imagined Imogen as being blonde. I always have. It doesn't really matter, but brilliant. Oh gosh, you guys are brilliant. All of you are being so brilliant. Oh, this is my chance to say this thing for anybody watching this ever. You all, I think, already know this, but the style of this play, one big reason why it's so weird and melodramatic and big and everything, is because he had a brand new theater, indoor theater called Blackfriars, and they had artificial lighting for the first time, it was candles, and the ability to do all kinds of weird special effects.
Mhm.
They were able to fly all kinds of fly god figures in from the flies up in the ceiling and fly all these big things around, and it was a new style.
Don't make too much of that. That's still in dispute. There's a lot of philosophy that says this was written for the Globe and the Tempest was written for
Well,
the
maybe
Black
both.
Friars.
Actually, maybe both. I think I read
Because the problem with the Blackfriars is he had a very, very small audience he could get. And it couldn't be done very often.
It was only for the court a little bit more. The rich folks could get in.
The merchants and above. And they could fly people down in the Globe as well. There was a trap door
all right,
up in the
okay.
top of that thing in the Globe, and they could drop things down there.
Okay,
So
right. But I just want to say that James the First had come in by now. It was a whole new ballgame. He's going, all right, Master Shakespeare, I'll give you a bunch of haggis. You must make things, lots of witches. It was what he liked. And you had to entertain him.
Well, there's another theory about this. Let me run this one by you, which I did write you about. My friend Brad and I, we went to see this at the Delacorte. And around the same time, I had read an article that they had found a hashish pipe in some garden of William Shakespeare's.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if that's true. I don't know, but I'm trying to put these two myths together anyway.
Yeah, but who knows how long that had been
Sitting
there.
there watching the play, and he says, I think he wrote this when he was stoned. I said, yeah. It all makes sense now.
His imagination was running wild. Yeah.
Fills everything in at the ending through the doctor. It's hilarious.
You have to remember that the pipes in those days looked like the hashish pipes that were used later.
Yeah.
In our days, they were long
but
clay pipes.
can I just say that there was a new style of entertainment.
Well, this was the play he wrote on.
They were called masks, MASQUES, and it was very about. And it was like the Mummers in Philly New Year's Parade, or Mardi Gras in Orleans, and you could still see the watercolor sketches from Inigo and Jones. He was highly in favor. He would design these pageants, and that's why Tempest has it, and this play. This is the transitional kind of play between Globe and Blackfriars. It was a new style that the king required of putting on entertainment, right?
Well, wait a minute. Like Midsummer was performed early on, right? And that had a lot of special effects in it, didn't it?
Right, but that was Queen Elizabeth, and that was a good 10 years before this, at least.
Right, but they didn't have all this. They didn't have the same effects that they were using later on in Cymbeline and the Tempest, is what you're saying.
They were more technologically advanced by now. They were.
I mean, Shakespeare
They had wheels and levers and everything.
Yeah, but Shakespeare in 1590 something had actually done a production at the Blackfriars when the Children's Theatre wasn't using it. So he knew about it, and he'd already seen the kind of effects that you could get. So when he actually took the lease, suddenly he had the option to play it. And if you look at the Tempest, that's why structurally you never see the rude mechanicals of the comics with the nobility, because it's all nobility in the audience. So they were not about to take the usual jokes of the rude mechanicals making fun of the nobility. So they never come up to it until right at the very end.
Although you do have rustic people in The Winter's Tale a lot, but that became a big style too. Suddenly, with Beaumont and Fletcher, they were really into bucolic stuff and mythological stuff. To show off their learning of the classics a lot. That was.
The early ones, Romeo and Juliet and Henry V, were all done at the Curtain.
Oh yes.
Which was the long rectangular theatre, not in the round. But the stage that I thought was the same.
When we did the reading of Henry VI Part 1 before.
Hey, Michael. I thought the stage in the Curtain and the Globe was the same size, but the Curtain was actually larger.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael. So I think you saw probably the one I saw at the Delacorte, the Cymbeline.
Yes.
They had the actor Hamish Linklater playing both Cloten.
Yes.
Mastermas.
And he kept stabbing himself. I loved it. He kept pulling his sword out and stabbing himself. Ow! Wow!
Yeah. And they had for the song that he does, they had like a little heavy metal power trio, and they did it as like a power ballad.
Cool. Look, everybody, look at my Shakespeare.
You mean Iachimo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did this great nightclub number, Iachimo, when he came on.
Oh,
yes,
that's
I remember that.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
this first at Stratford, Ontario in the early 1980s for the first time. And there was they put it like World War I time setting. And there was a huge crashed airplane there on stage for the whole, well, at least the Wales part. That's right, of the play. Yeah. And then did anybody also happen to see the Lincoln Center Vivian Beaumont production?
That's the only one I've ever seen. All I know is Kate Burton played both Belarius and the Queen.
Oh,
and she was
no, that was Felicia Rashad. No, and it was
she
John
was so
Cullum.
good.
John Cullum played Cymbeline. I'm talking about the 2004, 2003 production at Lincoln Center.
Oh, I remember when that happened. I didn't see it. And then they did an earlier one at the Delacorte too that I didn't see.
I don't think it was. No, you know who it was? It was Martha Plimpton played Imogen, I think. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good. I saw the first half of Cymbeline at the RSC. My
Yeah.
wife and I couldn't take any more of it, and we left it into.
I think Imogen is the most challenging woman for any actress to play in the whole canon. You know why?
I think so.
Because it works against her. And I remember sitting there and watching Lily, who was totally committed, breaking down and crying when she thinks her husband is dead.
Yeah.
And
then she
the thing
gets
is, we, the audience, know it's not that he's just been beheaded and he got what was coming to him, that it's plotting. So we know this, but it's a very heavy moment for her. And I remember two women in the back of me laughing during it, but I wasn't laughing.
It's tricky.
Because I was with her. Get it?
It's so tricky.
But it's a very difficult part to pull off because you, the actor, have to be so committed to that moment so that we feel and we forget and we're really feeling for her grief at that moment and not the joke.
It's got so many levels.
It's
Oh.
hard
Wait,
part.
well, can I ask Angus one thing?
What?
Was it because did you leave at intermission because the director's freaking concept just
Oh, it's not
overshadowed
check.
you?
All the song stuff. She was a European director. She had three black guys doing rap music. Instead of a king of Britain, she had a queen of Britain, which didn't help the play at all. And
This was Joanne Acolytus, was it?
and the servant who's been set up to kill was played by a woman. And the best she could do is to walk back and forward across the thrust, saying things. It was absolutely incompetent. And
I mean, you could do the gender bending, but
when
yeah,
the baddie
don't-
comes in, but it means simple. When the baddie comes in to her room, there was no, oh, I'm in this room, I'll have to find things. He knew exactly where he was going and walked straight there, and no suspension of, but it was god awful.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can do weird things, but don't do weird things just for weird, edgy
Oh, I
things'
know.
sake. Just for weird.
I got out. My wife and I were in different parts of the theater, and we met round the back at intermission. As she came up to me, she said, "You're not going to make me sit through any more of this, are you?"
Yeah.
Don't play a concept. Sounds like
I think we've got to resume. Everybody, we have to resume. It's been more than 5 minutes. It's a
Let's
long
do it.
Okay.
We have to resume.
Let's go.
Okay. You're all doing splendid.
I'm getting off. Hold on. I gotta get off.
Is everybody ready? Okay. Act 3, Scene 6.
What page?
Oh.
95.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here we
Welcome.
go. All right, everybody, take it away.
Now I'm lost because my instructions of where I'm talking are for a different version of the text.
Okay.
Let's go. All right.
I see a man's life is a tedious one. I've tired myself, and for 2 nights together have made the ground my bed. I should be sick, but that my resolution helps me. Milford, from when the mountaintop Pisanio showed thee, thou wasn't within a ken. Jove, I think foundations fly the wretched. Such I mean where they should be relieved. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie that have affliction on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or trial? Yes, no wonder, when rich ones scarce tell true. To lapse in fullness is sorer than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than beggars. My dear Lord, thou art one of the false ones. Now I think on thee, my hunger's gone, but even before I was at point to sink for food. But what's this? Here is a path to it. 'Tis some savage hold. I were best not call, I dare not call. Yet famine e'er clean it, o'erthrow nature, makes it valiant. Plenty and peace breeds cowards, hardness ever of hardiness is mother. Ho, who's there? If anything's that's civil, speak. If savage, take or lend. Ho! No answer? Then I'll enter. Best draw my sword, and if mine enemy but fear my sword like me, he'll scarcely look on it. Such a foe, good heavens.
You, Polydore, have proved best woodman and a master of the feast. Cadwal and I will play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match. The sweat of industry would dry and die, but for the end it works to. Come, our stomachs will make what's homely savoury. Weariness can snore upon the flint when resty sloth blinds the down pillow hard. Now peace be here, poor house that keeps thyself.
I am thoroughly weary.
I am weak with toil, yet strong in appetite.
Ah, there is cold meat in the oh, sorry.
Dad, there is cold meat in the cave. We'll browse on that whilst we have killed to be cooked.
Stay, come not in, but that it eats our victuals. I should think here were a fairy.
What's the matter, sir?
By Jupiter, an angel, or if not an earthly paragon. Behold, divineness no elder than a boy.
Good masters, harm me not. Before I entered here, I called and thought to have begged or bought what I have took. Good troth, I've stolen not, nor would not, though I had found gold strew the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the board so soon as I had made my meal and parted with prayers for the provider.
Money, you.
All gold and silver rather turn to dirt, as 'tis no better reckoned but of those who worship dirty gods.
I see you're angry. No, if you kill me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it.
Whither bound?
To Milford Haven.
What's your name?
Fidelis, sir. I have a kinsman who is bound for Italy. He is embarked at Milford, to whom, being going, almost spent with hunger, I am fallen in this offence.
Prithee, fair youth, think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered. 'Tis almost night. You shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay and eat it. Boys, bid him welcome.
Were you a woman, youth, I should woo hard. But be your groom in honesty. I bid for you as I do buy.
I'll make it my comfort. He is a man, I'll love him as my brother, and such a welcome as I'd give to him after long absence such as yours. Most welcome. Be sprightly, for you fall amongst friends.
Amongst friends! If brothers would it had been so, then they had been my father's sons. Then had my prize been less, and so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus.
He rings at some distress.
Would I could freet.
Or I, whate'er it be, what pain it cost, what danger. Gods!
Hark, boys.
Great men that had a court no bigger than this cave, that did attend themselves, and had the virtue which they own conscience sealed them, laying by that nothing gift of differing multitudes could not outpeer these twain. Pardon me, gods. I'll change my sex to be companion with them, since Leonatus false.
It shall be so. Boys, we'll go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in. Discourse is heavy, fasting. When we have supped, we'll mannerly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it.
Pray, draw near.
The night to the owl and morn to the lark less welcome.
Thanks, sir.
I pray draw near.
Is this the tenor of the emperor's wit, that since the common men are now in action against Pannonians and Dalmatians, and that the legions now in Gallia are full weak to undertake our wars against the four North Britons, that we do incite trade? Consul, And to you, the tribunes, for this immediate levy, he commands his absolute commission. Long live Caesar.
Is Lucius general of the forces?
Aye.
Remaining now in Gallia?
With those legions which I have spoke of, whereunto your levy must be suppliant, the words of your commission will tie you to the numbers and the time of their dispatch.
We will discharge our duty. I am near to the place where they should meet. If Pisanio hath mapped it truly, how fit his garments serve me? Why should his mistress, who was made by him that made the tailor, not be fit too? The rather saving reverence of the word, for to said a woman's fitness comes by fits. Therein I must play the workman. I dare speak it to myself, for it is not vainglory for a man and his glass to confer for. Is it not vainglory for a man? For it is not vainglory for a man and his glass to confer in his own chamber. I mean, the lines of my body are as well drawn as his. No less young, more strong, not beneath him in fortunes, beyond him in all advantage of the time, above him in birth, alike conversant in general services, and more remarkable in single oppositions. Yet this imperservant thing loves him in my despite. What mortality is! Posthumus, thy head, which now is growing upon thy shoulder, shall within this hour be off. Thy mistress enforced, thy garments cut to pieces before thy face, and all this done, spurn her home to her father, who may haply be a little angry for my so rough usage. But my mother, having power of his testiness, shall turn all into my commendations. My horse is tied up safe. Out sword, and to a purpose, a sore purpose. Fortune put them into my hand. This is the very description of their meeting place, and the fellow dares not deceive me.
You are not well. Remain here in the cave. We'll come to you after hunting.
Brothers, stay here. Are we not brothers?
So man and man should be, but clay and clay differs in dignity, whose dust is both alike. I am very sick.
Go you to hunting, I'll abide with him.
So sick I am not, yet I am not well, but not so citizen a wanton as to seem to die ere sick. So please you, leave me, stick to your journal course. The breach of custom is breach of all. I am ill, but your being by me cannot amend me. Society is no comfort to one not sociable. I am not very sick, since I can reason of it. Pray you, trust me here. I'll rob none but myself, and let me die stealing so poorly.
I love thee, I have spoke it. How much the quality, the weight, as much as I do love my father.
What? How?
If it be sin to say so, sir, I yoke me in my good brother's fault. I know not why I love this youth, and I have heard you say love's reasons without reason. The beer adore and the demand whoist shall die, I'd say my father, not this youth.
O noble strain, O worthiness of nature, breed of greatness. Cowards father cowards, and base things sire base. Nature hath meal and bran, contempt and grace. I'm not their father, yet who this should be does miracle itself, loved before me. 'Tis the 9th hour of the morn.
Brother, farewell.
I wish you sport.
You health. So please you, sir.
These are kind creatures. Gods, what lies I have heard. Our courtiers say all's savage but at court. Experience, oh, thou disprovest report. The imperious seas breed monsters, for the dish pour tributary rivers a sweet fish. I am sick still, heartsick. Pisanio, I'll now taste of thy drug.
I could not stir him. He said he was gentle but fortunate, dishonestly afflicted, but yet honest.
Thus did he answer me, yet said hereafter I might know more.
To the field, to the field. We'll leave you for this time. Go in and rest.
Will not be long away.
Pray be not sick, for you must be our housewife.
Well or ill, I am bound to you.
And shalt be ever. This youth, howe'er distressed, appeared he hath had good ancestors.
How angel-like he sings.
But his neat cookery?
He cut our roots in character.
Valerius? It's Valerius, I think.
Oh, it is. He cut our roots in characters, and sourced our brothers as Juno hath been sick, and he her Dieter.
Nobly he yokes, a smiling with a sigh, as if the sigh was that it was for not being such a smile. The smile mocking the sigh, that it would fly from so divine a temple to commix with winds that sailors rail at.
I do note that grief and patience rooted in them both mingle their spurs together.
Grow patient, and let the stinking elder grief untwine his perishing root with the increasing vine.
It is great morning. Come away. Who's there?
I cannot find those renegades. That villain hath mocked me. I am faint.
Those renegades? Means he know us? I partly knew him. 'Tis Cloten, son of the Queen. I fear some ambush. I saw him not these many years, and yet I know 'tis he. We are held as outlaws, hence.
He is but one. You and my brother's Searchwood companies are near. Pray you away. Let me alone with him.
Soft. But what are you that fly me thus? Some villain mountaineers? I have heard of such. What slave art thou?
A thing more slavish did I ne'er than answering a slave without a knock.
Thou art a robber, a lawbreaker, a villain. Yield thee, thief!
To who? To thee? What art thou? Have not I an arm as big as thine, a heart as big? Thy words, I grant, are bigger, for I wear not my dagger in my mouth. Say what thou art, why I should yield to thee.
Thou villain base, knowest me not by my clothes?
No, nor thy tailor, rascal. Who is thy grandfather? He made me those clothes, which as it seems makes thee.
Thou precious varlet, my tailor made them not.
Hence then, and thank the man that gave them thee. Thou art some fool, I am loath to beat thee.
Thou injurious thief, hear but my name, and tremble.
What's thy name?
Cloten, thou villain.
Cloten, thou double villain, be thy name. I cannot tremble at it. Were it toad or adder, spider, 'twould move me sooner.
To thy further fear, nay, to thy mere confusion, thou shalt know I am son to the Queen.
I'm sorry for it, not seeming so worthy as thy birth.
Are not afeard.
Those that I reverence, those I fear, the wise. At fools I laughed, not fear them.
Die thy death. When I have slain thee with my proper hand, I'll follow those that even now fled hence, and on the gates of Bloodstown set your heads. Yield, rustic mountaineer!
No companies abroad?
None in the world. You did mistake him, sure.
I cannot tell. Long is it since I saw him. but time hath nothing blurred those lines of favour which then he wore. The snatches in his voice, the burst of speaking were as his. I am absolute. 'Twas very Cloten.
In this place we left him. I wish my brother make good time with him. You say he is so fell.
Being scarce made up, I mean, to man, he hath not a pension of roaring terrors, for defect of judgment is oft the cause of fear. Oh, but see thy brother.
This Cloten was a fool, an empty purse. There was no money, and not Hercules could have knocked out his brains, for he had none. Yet I not doing this, the fool had borne my head as I do his.
What hast thou done?
I am perfect what? Cut off one Cloten's head, son to the queen, after his own report. Who called me traitor, mountaineer, and swore with his own single hand he'd take us in, displace our heads where thank the gods they grow, and set them on Lud's town.
We are all undone.
Why, worthy father, what have we to lose, but that he swore to take our lives? The law protects not us, when then why should we be tender to let an arrogant piece of flesh threaten us? Play judge and executioner all himself, huh? For we do fear the law. What company discover you abroad?
No single soul can we set eye on, but in all save reason he must have some attendance. Though his honour was nothing but mutation, aye, and that from one bad thing to worse, not frenzy, not absolute madness could so far have raved him to bring him here alone. Well, perhaps it may be heard at court that such as we cave here, hunt here, are outlaws, and in time may make some stronger head, the which he hearing, as it is like him, might break out and swear he'd fetch us in. Yet it's not probable to come alone. Either he so undertaking, or they so suffering, then on good ground we fear, if we do fear this body hath a tail more perilous than the head.
Let ordinance come as the gods foresay it. Howsoe'er, my brother hath done well.
I had no mind to hunt this day. The boy Fidelis' sickness did make my way long forth.
With his own sword, which he did wave against my throat, I have ta'en his head from him, throached into the creek behind our rock, and let it to the sea, and tell the fishes he is the queen's son, Cloten. That's all I wreak.
I fear 'twill be revenged. Good Polydore, thou hast not done'st, though valor becomes thee well enough.
Would I had done't, so the revenge alone pursued me. Polydore, I love thee brotherly, but envy much thou hast robbed me of this deed. I would revenges that possible strength might meet, would seek us through and put us to our answer.
Well, 'tis done. We'll hunt no more today, nor seek for danger where there's no profit. I prithee to our rock. You and Fideli play the cooks. I'll stay and hasty Polydore return, and bring him to dinner presently.
Poor sick Fidelis. I willingly to him, to gain his colour, I'd let a parish of such Cloten's blood, and praise myself for charity.
Oh, thou goddess, thou divine nature, thou thyself thou blazonst in these two princely boys. They are as gentle as zephyrs blowing below the violet, not wagging his sweet head, and yet as rough their royal blood enchafed as the rudest wind, that by the top doth take the mountain pine and make him stoop to the vale. 'Tis wonder that an invisible instinct should frame them to royalty unlearned, honor untaught, civility not seen from other, valor that wildly grows in them but yields a crop as if it had been sowed. Yet still it's strange what Cloten's being here to us portends. Oh, what his death will bring to us.
Where's my brother? I have sent Cloten's clot pole down the stream in embassy to his mother, his body's hostage for his return.
My ingenious instrument, hark, Polydore, it sounds. But what occasion hath Cadwal now to give it motion? Hark!
Is he at home?
He went hence even now.
What does he mean? Since death of my dearest mother, it did not speak before. All solemn things should answer solemn accidents. The matter? Triumphs for nothing, and lamenting toys is jollity for apes, and grief for boys is Cadwal mad?
Look, here he comes. Brings the dire occasion in his arms of what we blame him for.
The bird is dead that we have made so much on. I had rather have stepped from 16 years of age to 60 than have turned my leaping time into a crutch than have seen this.
O sweetest, fairest lily, my brother wears thee not the one half so well, and when thou grewst thyself.
Oh, melancholy! Whoever yet could sound thy bottom, find the ooze to show what coast thy sluggish care mightst easiest harbour in. Thou blessed thing, Jove knows what man thou mightst have made, but thou diest a most rare boy of melancholy. How found you him?
Stark, as you see, thus smiling as some fly had tickled slumber, not as death's dart being laughed at, his right cheek reposing on a cushion.
Where?
On the floor. His arms thus leagued, I thought he slept, and put my clouded brogues from off my feet, whose rudeness answered my steps too loud.
Why, he but sleeps. If he be gone, he'll make his grave a bed. With female fairies will his tomb be haunted, and worms will not come to thee.
With fairest flowers whilst summer lasts, and I live here, Fidele, I'll sweeten thy sad grave. Thou shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose, nor the azured harebell like thy veins. No, nor the leaf of eglantine, whom not to slander, outsweetened not thy breath, the radic wood with charitable bill. Oh, bill sore shaming those rich left heirs that let their fathers lie without a monument. Bring me all this, yea, and furred moss besides. When flowers are none to winter ground thy course.
Prithee, have done, and do not play the wench-like words with that which is so serious. Let us bury him, and not protract with admiration what is now due death. To the grave.
Say, where shalt lay him?
By good Europhile, our mother.
Be it so. And let us, Polydore, though now our voices have got the mannish crack, sing him to the ground as once to our mother. Use like note and words, save that Euryphile must be Fidele.
Cadwal, I cannot sing, I'll weep and word it with thee, for notes of sorrow out of tune are worse than the priests and fanes that lie.
We'll speak it then.
Great griefs I see, medicine the less. For Cloten is quite forgot. He was a queen's son, boys, and though he came our enemy, remember he was paid for that. Though mean and mighty rotting together have one dust, yet reverence that angel of the world doth make distinction, a place between high and low. Our foe was princely, and though you took his life as being our foe, yet bury him as a prince.
Pray you, fetch him hither. Thersites' body is as good as Ajax when neither are alive.
If you'll go fetch him, we'll say our song the whilst. Brother, begin.
Nay, Cadwal, we must lay his head to the east. My father hath a reason for it.
'Tis true.
Come then, and remove him.
So begin.
Fear no more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and ta'en thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust.
Fear no more the frown of the great. Thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat. To thee the reed is as the oak. The scepter learning physic must all follow this and come to dust.
Fear no more the lightning flash,
nor the all-dreaded thunderstone.
Fear not slander, censure, rash.
Thou hast finished joy and moan.
All lovers
All
young,
lovers
all
young,
lovers
all lovers
must,
must,
consign to
consign to
thee
thee,
and come to dust. No excorcisor harm thee,
nor no witchcraft charm thee.
ghost unlaid forbear thee.
Nothing ill come near thee.
Quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave. We have done our obsequies, come lay him down.
Here's a few flowers, about midnight more, the herbs that have on them cold dew of the night are strewing fitst for graves. Upon their faces, you were as flowers now withered, even so these herbalets shall, which we upon you strew. Come on away, apart upon our knees. The ground that gave them first has them again. Their pleasures here are past, so are their pain.
Yes, sir. To Milford Haven, which is the way? I thank you, beyond bush. Pray, how far thither? Odds, Pitikins, can it be 6 miles yet? I have gone all night, faith. I'll lie down and sleep. But soft. No bedfellow? Gods and goddesses, these flowers are like the pleasures of the world. This bloody man that care on it, I hope I dream. For so I thought I was a cave keeper and cook to honest creatures, but 'tis not so. 'Twas but a bolt of nothing, shot at nothing, which the brain makes fumes. Our very eyes are sometimes like our judgments, blind. Good faith. Oh, I tremble still with fear, but there be yet left in heaven as small a drop of pity as Wren's eye. Feared gods a part of it. A dream's here still. Even when I wake, it is without me, within me, and not imagined, felt. The headless man. The garments phosphorus. You know the shape of leg? This is his hand. His foot, mercurial, his martial thigh, the bronze of Hercules, but his jovial face. Murder in heaven, how? 'Tis gone. Oh, Pisanio. Oh, curses matted Hecuba gave the Greeks, and mine to boot. Be darted on thee, thou conspired with the irregular devil Cloten, hath here cut off my lord. To write and read, but henceforth treacherous. Damned Pisanio hath with his forged letters, damned Pisanio, from this most bravest vessel of the world struck to the main top. Posthumous. Alas. Where's the head? Where's that? Me, where's that? Oh, Pisanio might have killed thee in the heart and left this head on. How should this be, Pisanio? 'Tis he and Cloten, malice and lucre in them, have laid this woe here, and oh, 'tis pregnant, pregnant. The drug he gave me, which he said was precious and cordial to me, have I not found it murderous? To the senses. It confirms it all. This is Pisanio's deed at Cloten. Oh, give color to my pale cheek with thy blood, that we, the horritor, may seem to those within chance to find us. Oh, my lord, my lord!
To them the legions garrisoned in Gallia after your will have crossed the sea, attending you here at Milford Haven with your ships. They are in readiness.
But what from Rome?
The Senate hath stirred up the confiners and gentlemen of Italy, most willing spirits that promise noble service, and they come under the conduct of bold Iachimo, Sienna's brother.
When expect you them?
With the next benefit of the wind.
This forwardness makes our hopes fair. Command our present numbers be mustered, bid the captains look to it. Now, sir, what have you dreamed of late of this war's purpose?
very gods showed me a vision. I fast and prayed for their intelligence. Thus, I saw Jove's bird, the Roman eagle, winged from the spongy south to this part of the west, there vanished in the sunbeams, which portends, unless my sins abuse my divination, success to the Roman host.
Dream often so, and never false. Soft. Oh, what trunk is here without his top? The ruin speaks that sometime it was a worthy building. How? A page? Or dead, or sleeping on him? But dead rather, for nature doth abhor to make his bed with the defunct, or sleep upon the dead. Let's see the boy's face.
He's alive, my lord.
He'll then instruct us of this body. Young one, inform us of thy fortunes, for it seems they crave to be demanded. Who is this thou makest thy bloody pillow? Or who was he that otherwise the noble nature did hath altered that good picture? What's thy interest in this Sadrec? How came it? Who is it? What art thou?
I am nothing, or if not, nothing to be were better. This was my master, a very valiant Briton and a good, that to hear by mountaineer lies slain. Alas, there is no more such masters. I may wander from east to Occident, cry out for service, try many, all good, serve truly, never find such another master.
Lack, good youth. Thou movest no less with thy complaining than thy master in bleeding. Say his name, good friend.
Richard de Champ. If I do lie, and do no harm by it, though the gods hear, I hope they'll pardon it. Say you, sir?
Thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Ha! Thou dost approve thyself the very same. Thy name well fits thy faith thy name. Wilt take thy chance with me? I will not say thou shalt be so well mastered, but be sure no less beloved. The Roman emperor's letters sent by a consul to me should not sooner than thine own worth prefer thee. Go with me.
I'll follow, sir. But first, an it please the gods, I'll hide my master from the flies, as deep as these poor pickaxes can dig. And when with wildwood leaves and weeds I have strewed his grave, and on its head a century of prayers, such as I can, twice o'er, I'll weep and sigh, and leaving so his service, follow you. So please you entertain me.
Aye, good youth, and rather father thee than master thee. My friends, the boy hath taught us manly duties. Let us find out the prettiest daisied plot we can, and make him with our pikes and partisans a grave. Come, arm him. Boy, he is preferred by thee to us, and he shall be interred as soldiers can. Be cheerful. Wipe thine eyes. Some falls are means the happier to arise.
Oh, again. And bring me word how 'tis with her. A fever with the absence of her son. A madness of which her life's in danger. Heavens, how deeply you at once do touch me. Imogen, the great part of my comfort gone. My queen upon a desperate bed, and in a time when fearful wars point at me. Her son gone, so needful for this present, it strikes me past the hope of comfort. But for thee, fellow, who needs must know of her departure, and dost seem so ignorant, will enforce it from thee by a sharp torture.
Sir, my life is yours. I humbly set it at your will. But for my mistress, I know nothing where she remains, why gone, nor where when she proposes return. Beseech your highness, hold me your loyal servant.
Oh, okay. Just a moment. I'm almost there. Let me see. Good my liege. The day that she was missing, he was here. I dare be bound he's true, and shall perform all parts of his subjection loyally. For Clausen there wants no diligence in seeking him, and will no doubt be found.
The time is troublesome. We'll slip you for a season, but our jealousy does yet depend.
So please your majesty, the Roman legions, all from Gallia drawn, are landed on your coast, with a supply of Roman gentlemen by the Senate sends.
Now for the counsel of my son and queen, I am amazed with matter.
Good my liege, your preparation can affront no less than what you hear of. Come more, for more you're ready. The want is but to put those powers in motion that long to move.
I thank you. Let's withdraw and meet the time as it seeks us. We fear not what can from Italy annoy us, but we grieve at chances here. Away.
I heard no letter from my master since I wrote him Imogen was slain. 'Tis strange. Nor hear I from my mistress, who did promise to yield me often tidings. Neither I know what is betide a Cloten, but remain perplexed in all. The heavens still must work. Where I am false, I am honest. Not true to be true. These present wars shall find I love my country, even to the note of the king, or I'll fall them. All other doubts, by time let them be cleared. Fortune, bring in some boats that are not steered.
The noise is round about us.
Let us from it.
A pleasure, sir, we find in life to lock it from action and adventure.
Nay, what hope have we in hiding us? This way the Romans must for Britain slay us or receive us for barbarous and unnatural revolts during their use and slay us after.
Sons, we'll hire to the mountains, and they'll secure us to the king's party. There is no goal. Newness of Cloten's death, we, being not known nor mustered among the bands, may drive us to a render where we have lived, and so extort from that which we have done, whose answer would be death, drawn on with torture.
This is, sir, a doubt in such a time, and nothing becoming you nor satisfying us.
It is not likely that when they hear their Roman horses neigh, behold their quartered fires, have both their eyes and ears so cloyed importantly as now, that they will waste their time upon our note to know from whence we are.
Oh, I am known of many in the army. Many years, though Cloten then but young, you see not wore him from my remembrance. And besides, the king hath not deserved my service, nor your loves, who find in my exile the want of breeding. The certainty of this herd life, I, hopeless to have the courtesy your cradle promised, but to be still hot summer's tanlings, and the shrinking slaves of winter.
Then be so better to cease to be. Praise, sir, to the army. I and my brother are not known. Yourselves are so out of thought, and thereto so are grown, cannot be questioned.
By this sun that shines, I'll thither. What thingest that I never did see man die, scarce ever looked on blood, but that of coward hares, hot goats, and venison. Never bestride a horse save one that had a rider like myself, who ne'er wore rowel, nor iron on his heel. I am ashamed to look upon the holy sun, to have the benefit of his blessed beams remaining so long a poor unknown.
By heavens, I'll go. If you will bless me, sir, and give me leave, I'll take the better care. But if you will not, the hazard therefore do fall on me by the hands of the Romans.
So say I, amen.
No reason, since of your lives you set so slight a valuation, should reserve my cracked one to more care. Have with you, boys, if in your country wars you chance to die, that is my bed too, lads, and there I'll lie. Lead, lead, the time seems long, their blood thinks scorn till it fly out, and show them princes born.
Yea, bloody cloth, I'll keep thee, for I am wished thou shouldst be colored thus. You married ones, if each of you should take this course, how many must murder wives much better than themselves, for wrying but a little? Oh, Pisanio, every good servant does not all commands. No bond, but to do just once. Gods, if you should have taken vengeance on my faults, I never had lived to put on this. So had you saved the noble Imogen to repent, and stroke me, wretch, more worth your vengeance. But alack, you snatch some hints for little faults. That's love to have them fall no more. You some permit to second ills with ills, each elder worse, and make them dread it. To the doer's thrift. But Imogen is your own. Do your best wills, and make me blessed to obey. I am brought hither among the Italian gentry, and to fight against my lady's kingdom. 'Tis enough that, Britain, I have killed my mistress. Peace, I'll give no wound to thee. Therefore, good heavens, hear patiently my purpose. I'll disrobe me of these Italian weeds and suit myself as does a Briton peasant. So I'll fight against the part I come with. So I'll die for thee, O Imogen, even for whom my life is every breath a death, and thus unknown, pitied, nor hated, to the face of peril, myself I'll dedicate. Let me make men know more valor in me than my habits show. Gods, put the strength of the Leonati in me to shame the guise of the world. I will begin the fashion less without and more within.
The heaviness and guilt within my bosom takes off my manhood. I have belied a lady, the princess of this country, and the heir on't revengingly enfeebles me, or could this Carl, a very drudge of natures, have subdued me in my profession? Knighthoods and honors born as I were mine are titles but of scorn, if that thy gentry, Britain, go before this lout, as he exceeds our lords. The odds is that we scarce are men, and you are gods.
Stand! Stand, we have the advantage of the ground. The lane is guarded. Nothing routs us but the villainy of our fears.
Stand and fight!
Away, boy, from the troops and save thyself, for friends kill friends, and the disorders such as war were hoodwinked.
'Tis their fresh supplies.
It is a day turned strangely, or betimes let's reinforce or fly.
Camest thou from where they made the stand?
I did. Though you, it seems, comes from the flyers?
I did.
No blame be to you, sir, for all was lost. But that the heavens fought, the king himself of his wings destitute, the army broken, and but the backs of Britain seen, all flying through a straight lane, the enemy full-hearted, lolling the tongue with slaughtering, having work more plentiful than tools to do it. Struck down, some mortally, some slightly touched, some falling merely through fear, that the straight path was damned with dead men, hurt behind, and cowards living to die with lengthened shame.
Where was this lane?
close by the battle, ditched and walled with turf, which gave advantage to an ancient soldier, an honest one, I warrant, who deserved so long a breeding as his white beard came to. In doing this for country, athwart the lane, he, with 2 striplings, lads more like to run the country base than to commit such slaughter, with faces fit for masks, or rather fairer than those for preservation case or shame, made good the passage, cried to those that fled, our Britons' hearts dive flying, not our men. To darkness fleet souls that fly backwards, stand, or we are Romans, and will give you that, like beasts, which you shun, beastly, and may save, but to look back in frown. Stand, stand, these 3,000 confident, and act as many, for 3 performers are the file, when all the rest do nothing. With this word stand, accommodated by the place, more charming with their own nobleness, which could have turned a distaff to a lance, gilded pale looks, part shame, part spirit renewed, that some turned coward, but by example, oh, a sin in war, damned in the first beginners, began to look the way that they did, and to grin like lions upon the pikes of the hunters. Then began a stop at the chaser, a retire, anon, a rout, confusion thick, forthwith they fly, chickens the way which they stalked eagles, slaves the strides the victors made. And now our cowards, like fragments in hard voyages, became the life of the need, having found the back door open of the unguarded hearts. Heavens, how they wound, some slain before dying, some their friends, or born in the former wave, 10 chased by 1, are now each one the slaughter men of 20. Those that would die or e'er resist are grown the mortal bugs of the field.
This was strange chance. A narrow lane, an old man and 2 boys?
Nay, do not wonder at it. You are made rather to wonder at the things you hear than to work any. Will you rhyme upon it and vent it for a mockery? Here is one. 2 boys, an old man, twice a boy, a lane preserved the Britons, was the Romans' bane.
Nay, be not angry, sir.
Lack, to what end? Who dares not stand his foe? I'll be his friend. For if he'll do as he is made to do, I know he'll quickly fly my friendship too. You have put me in a rhyme.
Farewell, you're angry.
Still going? This is a lord. Oh, noble misery to be in the field and ask what news of me? Today, how many would have given their honors to have saved their carcasses, took heal to do it, and yet died too. I, in mine own woe charmed, could not find death where I did hear him groan, nor feel him where he stroke. Being an ugly monster, 'tis strange he hides him in fresh cups, soft beds, sweet words, or hath more ministers than we that draw his knives in the war. Well, I will find him, for being now a favorer to the Briton, no more a Briton, I have resumed again the part I came in. Fight I will no more, but yield me to the veriest hand that shall once touch my shoulder. Great the slaughter is here made by the Roman. great the answer be Britons must take. For me, my ransom's death, on either side I come to spend my breath, which neither here I'll keep nor bear again, but end it by some means for Imogen.
Great Jupiter be praised, Lucius is taken. 'Tis thought the old man and his sons were angels.
There was a fourth man in a silly habit that gave the affront with them.
So 'tis reported, but none of them can be found. Stand, who's there?
A Roman who had not now been drooping here if seconds had answered him.
Lay hands on him, a dog. A leg of Rome shall not return to tell what crows have pecked him here. He brags his service as if he were of note. Bring him to the king.
You shall not now be stolen. You have locks against you, upon you. So graze as you find pasture.
Aye, or a stomach.
Most welcome bondage, for thou art a way, I think, to liberty. Yet am I better than one that's sick of the gout, since he had rather groan so in perpetuity than be cured by the sure physician, death, who is the key to unbar these locks. My conscience, thou art fettered more than my shanks and wrists. You good gods, give me the penchant instrument to pickle that bolt, then free forever. Is it not I am sorry? So children, temporal fathers, do I appease? Gods are more full of mercy. Must I repent? I cannot do it better than a guise. I desire more than constrained to satisfy. If of my freedom is the main part, take no strict surrender of me. Then my all. I know you are more clement than vile men, who of their broken debtors take a third, a sixth, a tenth, letting them thrive again on their abatement. That's not my desire. For Imogen's dear life, take mine. And though 'tis not so dear, yet 'tis a life. You coined it. Between man and man, they weigh not every stamp. Though light, take pieces for the figure's sake. You ever, mine being yours, and so great powers. If you will take this audit, take this life, and cancel these gold. Oh, Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence.
No more, thou thundermaster, show thy spite on mortal flies, with Mars full out with Juno chide, that thy adulteries, rapes, and revenges hath my poor boy done aught but well, whose face I never saw. I died whilst in the womb he stayed, attending nature's law. Whose father then, as men report, thou orphan's father art, thou shouldst have been and shielded him from this earth's vexing smart.
She lent not me her aid, but took me in my throes, that from me Posthumus was ripped, came crying amongst his foes, a thing of pity.
Great nature, like his ancestry, molded the stuff so fair that he deserved the praise of the world as great Cecilia's heir.
When once he was mature for man in Britain, where he was when once he was mature for man in Britain, where was he that could stand up to his parallel, or fruitful object be, an eye of Imogen that best could deem his dignity.
courage. Wherefore was he mocked to be exiled and thrown from Leonati's seat and cast from her his dearest one, sweet Imogen?
Why did you suffer Iachimo, slight thing of Italy, to taint his nobler heart and brain with needless jealousy, and to become the geek and scorn of the other's villainy?
For this, from stiller seats we came, our parents and us twain, that striking in our country's cause, fell bravely and were slain, our fealty and tenacious right with honor to maintain.
Like Hardiment posthumous hath they to Cymbeline performed. Then Jupiter, you king of gods, why hast you thus adjourned the graces for his merits due, being all to dolors turned?
Thy crystal window ope, look out, no longer exercise upon a valiant race thy harsh and potent injuries.
Jupiter, our son is good. Take off his miseries.
Peep through thy marble mansion. Help, or we poor ghosts will cry to the shining synod of the rest against thy deity.
Help,
Jupiter,
or we appeal from thy justice fly.
No more, you petty spirits of region low, offend our hearing. Hush! How dare you ghosts accuse the thunderer, whose boat you know sky-planted batters all rebelling coasts? Poor shadows of Elysium, hence, and rest upon your never-withering banks of flowers. Be not with mortal accidents oppressed. No care of yours it is, you know 'tis ours. Whom best I love, I cross, to make my gift the more delayed, delighted. Be content. Your low-laid son our Godhead will uplift. His comforts thrive, his trials well are spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he married. Rise and fade, he shall be lord of Lady Imogen, and happier much by his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, wherein our pleasure his full fortune doth confine, and so away. No farther with your din express impatience, lest you stir up mine. Mount, eagle, to my palace crystalline.
He came in thunder, his celestial breath was sulphurous to smell. His holy eagle stooped as to foot us, his ascension is. More sweet than our blessed fields, his royal bird prunes the immortal wind and cloys his beak as when his God is pleased.
Thanks,
Jupiter.
The marble pavement closes. He is entered his radiant roof. Away, and to be blessed, let us with care perform his great behest.
Sleep. Thou hast been a grandsire, and begot a father to me. And thou hast created a mother and two brothers. But, oh, scorn, gone, they went hence so soon as they were born. And so I am awake. Poor wretches that depend on greatness, favor, dream as I have done, wake and finding nothing. But alas, I swerve. Many dreams not to find, neither deserve, and yet are steeped in favors. So am I that have this golden chance, and know not why. What fairies haunt this ground? A book? A rare one. Be not, as is our fangled world, a garment nobler than covers. Let thy effects so follow to be most unlike our courtiers, as good as promise. When, as a lion's whelp, shall to himself unknown without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air? And when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which being dead many years, shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty. 'Tis still a dream, or else such stuff as madmen tongue and brain not, either both or nothing, or senseless speaking, or a speaking such as sense cannot untie. Be what it is, the action of my life is like it, which I'll keep, if but for sympathy.
Come, sir. Are you ready for death?
Roasted, rather. Ready long ago.
Hanging is the word, sir. If you be ready for that, you are well cooked.
So if I prove a good repast to the spectators, the dish pays the shot.
Yeah, heavy reckoning for you, sir. But the comfort is, you shall be called on to no more payments. Fear no more tavern bills, which are often in sadness of parting as the procuring of mirth. You come in faint for want of meat, depart reeling with too much drink, sorry that you have paid too much, and sorry that you are paid too much. Purse and brain, both empty. The brain, the heavier for being too light. The purse too light, being drawn of heaviness. Of this contradiction, you shall now be quit. Of the charity of a penny cord, it sums up thousands in a trice. You have no true debitor and creditor, but it. Of what's past is and to come, the discharge. Your neck, sir, is pen, book, and counters. So the acquaintance follows.
I am merrier to die than thou art to live.
Indeed, sir. He that sleeps feels not the toothache, but a man that were to sleep your sleep, and a hangman to help him to bed, I think he would change places with this officer. For, look you, sir, you know not which way you shall go.
Yes, indeed, I do, fellow.
Your death has eyes in his head, then. I have not seen him so pictured. You must either be directed by some that take upon them to know, or take upon yourself that which I'm sure you do not know, or jump the after inquiry on your own peril. And how you shall speed in your journey's end, I think you shall never return to tell on.
I tell thee, fellow, there are none want eyes to direct them the way I am going, but such as wink and will not use them.
Ah, what an infinite mark is this, that a man should have the best use of eyes to see the way of blindness. I am sure hangings, the way of winking.
Knock off his manacles, bring your prisoner to the king.
Oh, sorry, that was me too, sorry.
Thou bringest good news. I am called to be made free.
I'll be hanged then.
Thou shalt be then freer than a gower. No bolts for the dead.
Unless a man would marry a gallows and beget young gibbets. I never saw one so prone. Yet on my conscience, a very knaves desire to live, for all he be a Roman. And there be some of them now, too, that die against their wills. So should I, if I were one. I would we were all of one mind. And one mind, good. Oh, that there were desolation of jailers and gallowses. I speak against my present prophet, but my wish hath a preferment in it.
Stand by my side, you whom the gods have made preservers of my throne. Woe is my heart that the poor soldier that so richly fought, whose rags shamed gilded arms, whose naked breasts stepped before targes of proof, cannot be found. He shall be happy that can find him, if our grace can make it so, make him so.
I never saw such noble fury in so poor a thing, such precious deeds in one that promised not but beggary and poor looks.
No tidings of him?
He has been searched among the dead and living, but no trace of him.
To my grief, I am the heir of his reward, which I will add to you, the liver, the heart, and brain of Britain, by whom I grant she lives. 'Tis now the time to ask of whence you are. Report it.
Sir, in Cambria are we born and gentlemen. Further to boast, we're neither true nor modest, unless I add we are honest.
Bow your knees. Arise, my knights of the battle. I create you companions to our person and will fit you with dignities becoming your estates. There's business in these faces. Why so sadly greet you our victory? You look like Romans and not the court of Britain.
Hail, great king. To sour your happiness, I must report the queen is dead.
Who worse than a physician would this report become? But I consider by medicine life may be prolonged, yet death will seize the doctor too. How ended she?
With horror, madly dying, like her life, which, being cruel to the world, concluded most cruel to herself. What she confessed, I will report, so please you. These her women can trip me if I err, who with wet cheeks were present when she finished.
Prithee say.
First, she confessed she never loved you. Only affected greatness got by you, not you. Married your royalty, was wife to your place, abhorred your person.
She alone knew this, but she spoke it dying. I would not believe her lips in opening it. Proceed.
Your daughter, whom she bore in hand integrity, she did confess, was as a scorpion to her sight, whose life, but that her flight prevented it, she had taken off by poison.
Oh, most delicate fiend, who can read a woman? Is there more?
More, sir, and worse. She did confess she had for you a mortal mirror, which book should a minute feed on your life, and lingering by inches waste you. In which time she proposed by watching, weeping, tendons, kissing to overcome you with her show, and in time when she had fitted you with her craft, to work her son into the adoption of the crown. By failing of her end by his strange absence, grew shameless, desperate, opened, in despite of heaven and men, her proposes, repented the evils she hatched, were not effected, so despairingly died.
Could you all this, her women?
We did. We did, so please your highness.
Mine eyes were not in fault, for she was beautiful. Mine ears that hear her flattery, nor my heart, that thought her like her seeming, it had been vicious to have mistrusted her. Yet, oh, my daughter, that it was folly in me, thou mayst say, and prove it in thy feeling. Heaven mend all. Thou comest not, Caius, now for tribute, that the Britons have raced out, though with the loss of many a bold one. whose kinsmen have made sweet that their good souls may be appeased with slaughter of you, their captives, which ourself have granted. So think of your estate.
Consider, sir, the chance of war. The day was yours by accident. Had it gone with us, we should not, when the blood was cool, have threatened our prisoners with the sword. But since the gods will have it thus, that nothing but our lives may be called ransom, let it come. Sufficeth, a Roman with a Roman's heart can suffer. Augustus lives to think on't, and so much for my peculiar care. This one thing only I will entreat. My boy, a Briton born, let him be ransomed. Never master had a page so kind, so duteous, diligent, so tender over his occasions, true, so feat, so nurse-like. Let his virtue join with my request, which I make bold your highness cannot deny. He hath done no Briton harm, though he have served a Roman. Save him, sir, and spare no blood beside.
I've surely seen him. His favor is familiar to me. Boy, thou hast looked thyself into my grace, and art mine own. I know not why, wherefore to say, live, boy, ne'er thank thy master. Live, and ask of Cymbeline what boon thou wilt, fitting my bounty, and thy state I'll give it. Yea, though thou do demand a prisoner, the noblest tame.
I humbly thank your highness.
I do not bid thee beg my life, good lad, and yet I know thou wilt.
No, no. Alack, there's other work in hand. I see a thing bitter to me as death. Your life, good master, must shuffle for itself.
Oh, the boy disdains me. He leaves me, scorns me. Briefly die their joys that place them on the truth of girls and boys. Why stands he so perplexed?
What wouldst thou, boy? I love thee more and more. Think more and more what's best to ask. Knowst him thou lookst on? Speak. Wilt have him live? Is he thy kin, thy friend?
He is a Roman, no more kin to me than I to your highness, who, being born your vassal, am something nearer.
Wherefore eyest him so?
I'll tell you, sir, in private, if you please give me hearing.
Aye, with all my heart, and lend my best attention. What's thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Thou art my good youth. My page, I'll be thy master. Walk with me. Speak freely.
Is not this boy revived from death?
One and another not more resembles that sweet rosy lad who died and was Fidele. What think you?
The same dead thing alive!
Peace, peace. See further. The eyes us not. For bare creatures may be alike. Were he, I am sure he would have spoke to us.
But we see him dead.
Be silent. Let's see further.
It is my mistress. Since she is living, let the time run on to good or bad.
Come, stand thou by our side. Make thy demand aloud. Sir, step you forth, give answer to this boy, and do it freely, or by our greatness and the grace of it, which is our honor, bitter torture shall winnow the truth from falsehood. One, speak to him.
My boon is that this gentleman may render of whom he had this ring.
What's that to him?
That diamond upon your finger. Say how it came yours. How came it yours?
Thou torture me to leave unspoken that which to be spoke would torture me.
How, me?
I am glad to be constrained to utter that which torments me to conceal. By villainy I got this ring. 'Twas Leonatus's jewel, whom thou didst banish, and which more may grieve thee, as it doth me, a nobler sir, ne'er lived, twixt sky and ground. Wilt thou hear more, my lord?
All that belongs to this.
That paragon, thy daughter, for whom my heart drops blood and my false spirits quail to remember, give me leave, I faint.
My daughter, what of her? Renew thy strength. I had rather thou shouldst live while nature will, than die ere I hear more. Strive, man, and speak.
Upon a time, Unhappy was the clock that struck the hour. It was in Rome, accursed the mansion where 'twas at a feast. Would our viands had been poisoned, or at least those which I heaped ahead. The good Posthumus, what should I say? He was too good to be where ill men were, and was the best of all amongst the rarest of good ones, sitting sadly, hearing our praises of our loves of Italy, for beauty that made barren the swelled boast of him that best could speak, for feature laming the shrine of Venus, or straight plight Minerva, postures beyond brief nature, for condition, a shop of all the qualities that man loves woman for, besides that hook of wiving fairness which strikes the eye.
I stand on fire. Come to the matter.
All too soon I shall, unless thou wouldst grieve quickly. This Posthumus, most like a noble lord in love, and one that had a royal lover, took his hint, and not dispraising whom we praise, therein he was as calm as virtue, he began his mistress' picture, which by his tongue being made, and then a mind put in't, either our brags were cracked of kitten trolls, or his description proved us unspeaking sots.
Nay, tooth purpose.
Your daughter's chastity, there it begins. He spake of her as Diane had hot dreams, and she alone were cold. Whereat I, wretch, made scruple of his praise, and wagered with him pieces of gold against this, which he then wore upon his honored finger, to attain in suit the place of his bed, and win this ring by hers and mine adultery. He, true knight, no lesser of her honor confident than I did truly find her, stakes his ring, and would so had it been a carbuncle of Phoebus' wheel, and might so safely had it been all the worth of his care. Away to Britain post I in this design. Well may you, sir, remember me at court, where I was taught of your chaste daughter the wide difference twixt amorous and villainous, being thus quenched of hope, not longing. Mine Italian brain again in your duller Britain operate most vilely, for my vantage excellent. And to be brief, my practice so prevailed that I returned with a similar proof enough to make the noble Leonatus mad by wounding his belief in her renown with tokens thus and thus, averring notes of chamber hangings, pictures, this her bracelet, cunning how I got it, nay, some marks of secret on her person, that he could not but think her bond of chastity quite or cracked, I having ta'en the forfeit, whereupon methinks I see him now.
I so thou dost. Italian fiend! Ay me, most credulous fool! Egregious murderer! Thief! Anything that's due to all the villains past and being to come. Oh, give me cord or knife or poison, some upright justice. Sir, thou king, sent out for torturers ingenious. It is I that all the abhorred things on the earth amend by being worse than they. I am Posthumus, that killed thy daughter. Villain-like, I lie, that caused a lesser villain than myself, a sacrilegious thief, to do it. The temple of virtue was she, yea, and she herself spit and throw stones, mire upon me, set the dogs of the street to bay me. Every villain be called Posthumus Leonatus, and be villain less than I was. Oh, Imogen, my queen, my life, my wife. Oh, Imogen, Imogen, Imogen.
Peace, my lord. Here, here.
Shalt have a play of this? Thou scornful page, there lie thy part.
No, gentlemen, help! Mine and your mistress. Ah, my lord Posthumus in there killed Imogen till now. Help, help! Oh, my honored lady.
Does the world go round?
How comes these daggers on me?
Wake my mistress.
If this be so, the gods do mean to strike me to death with mortal joy.
How fares my mistress?
Get thee from my sight. Thou gavest me poison, dangerous fellow. Hence, breathe not where princes are.
The tune of Imogen.
Lady, the gods throw stones of sulfur on me if that box I gave you was not thought by me a precious thing. I had it from the queen.
New matter still.
It poisoned me.
Oh, gods! I left one thing out, which the queen confessed, which must approve thee honest, if Bassanio had, said she, given his mistress that confection, which I gave him for a cordial, she has served, as I would serve a rat.
What's this, Cornelius?
The queen, sir, very often opportuned me to temper poisons for her, still pretending the satisfaction of her knowledge, only in killing creatures wild as cats and dogs in no esteem. I, dreading that her purpose was of more danger, did compound her for a certain stuff which, being taken, would seize the present power of life. But in short term, all offices in nature should again do their due functions. Have you taken it?
Most like I did, for I was dead.
My boys, there was our error.
'Tis sure Fidella.
Why did you throw your wedded lady from you? Think that you are upon a rock and now throw me again?
Hang there like fruit, my soul, till the tree die.
Oh no, my flesh, my child. What makest thou me a dullard in this act? Wilt thou not speak to me?
Your blessing, sir.
Though you did love this youth, I blame you not. You had a motive for it.
My tears that fall from holy water on thee, Imogen. Thy mother's dead.
I'm sorry for it, my lord.
Oh, she was not. Along of her it was that we meet here so strangely, but her son is gone. We know not how nor where.
My lord, now fear is for me. Now fear is from me. I'll speak truth. Lord Cloten, upon my lady's missing, came to me with his sword drawn, foamed at the mouth, and swore if I discovered not which way she was gone, it was my instant death. By accident, I had a feigned letter of my master's then in my pocket, which directed him to seek her on the mountains near to Milford, where in a frenzy in my master's garments, which he enforced from me, away he posts with unchaste purpose and with oath to violate my lady's honor. What became of him, I further know not know.
Let me end the story. I slew him there.
Mary, the gods forfend. I would not thy good deeds should from my lips pluck a hard sentence. Prithee, valiant youths, deny it again.
I have spoken and I did it.
He was a prince.
A most in the civil one. The wrongs he did of me were nothing prince-like, for he did provoke me with language that would make me spurn the sea if it could roar to me. I cut off his head, and am right glad he is not standing here to tell this tale of mine.
I am sorrow for thee. By thine own tongue thou art condemned and must endure our law. Thou art dead.
That headless man I thought had been my lord.
Bind the offender and take him from our presence.
Stay, Sir King. This man is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself, and hath more of thee merited than a band of Clotons had ever scarred for. At his arms alone they were not born for bondage.
Why, old soldier, wilt thou undo the worth thou art unpaid for by tasting of our wrath? How of descent as good as we?
In that he spake too far.
And thou shalt die for it.
We will die all three, and I will prove that 2 ones are as good as I have given out him. My sons, I must for mine own part unfold a dangerous speech, though haply well for you.
Your danger's ours.
And our good his.
Have at it then.
Have at it then, by leave. Thou had, great king, a subject who was called Belarius.
What of him? He's a banished traitor.
He it is that hath assumed this age. Indeed, a banished man, I know not how a traitor.
Take him hence, the whole world shall not save him.
Not so hot. First pay me for the nursing of thy sons, and let it be confiscate all so soon as I have received it.
Nursing of my sons?
I am too blunt and saucy. Here's my knee. Ere I rise, I will prefer my sons, then spare not the old father, mighty sir. These 2 young gentlemen that call me father and think they are my sons are none of mine. They are the issue of your loins, my liege, the blood of your begetting.
How? My issue?
So sure as you, your fathers, I, old Morgan, am that Belarius whom you sometime banished. Your pleasure was my near offence, my punishment itself, and all my treason that I suffered was all the harm I did. These gentle princes, for such and so they are, these 20 years have I trained up. Those arts they have as I could put into them. My breeding was, as your highness knows, their nurse, Euryphile, whom I for the theft I wedded, stole those children upon my banishment. I moved her to it, having received the punishment before for that which I did then. Beaten for loyalty, excited me to treason. Their dear loss, the more of you 'twas felt, the more it shaped unto my end of stealing them. But gracious sir, here are your sons again, and I must lose 2 of the sweetest companions in the world. The benediction of these covering heavens fall on their heads like dew, for they are worthy to inlay heaven with stars.
Thou weepst and speakst. The service that you 3 have done is more unlike than this thou tell'st. I lost my children. If this be they, I know not how to wish a pair of worthier sons.
Be pleased a while. This gentleman, whom I call Polydore, most worthy prince, as yours is true great Darius. This gentleman, my Cadwal, Arviragus, your younger princely son. He, sir, was lapped in a most curious mantle wrought by the hand of his queen mother, which for more probation I can with ease produce.
But Darius had upon his neck a mole, a sanguine star. It was a mark of wonder.
This is he who hath upon him still that natural stamp. It was wise nature's end in the donation to be his evidence now.
Oh, what am I, a mother to the birth of 3? Their mother rejoice deliverance more. Blessed pray you be, that after this strange starting from your orbs, you may reign in them now. Oh, Imogen, thou hast lost by this a kingdom.
No, my lord, I have got 2 worlds by it. Oh, my gentle brothers, have we thus met? Oh, never say hereafter, but I am truest speaker. You called me brother when I was but your sister. I you brothers when we were so indeed.
Did you e'er meet?
I, my good lord.
And at first meeting loved, continued so until we thought he'd died.
By the queen's dram she swallowed.
Oh, rare instinct, when shall I hear all through? This fierce abridgment hath to its circumstantial branches, which distinction should be rich in. Where, how lived you, and when came you to serve our Roman captive? How parted with your brother? How first met with them? How fled you from the court? And whether he sent your 3 motives to the battle? With I know not how much more should be demanded, and all the other by dependencies from chance to chance? But nor the time nor place will serve our long interrogatories. See, Posthumus anchors upon Imogen, and she, like harmless lightning, throws her eye on him. Her brothers, me, her master, hitting each object with a joy. The counterchange is severally in all. Let's quit this ground and smoke the temple with our sacrifices. Thou art my brother, so we'll hold thee forever.
You are my father too, and did relieve me to see this gracious season.
All are joyed, save these in bonds. Let them be joyful too, for they shall taste our comfort.
My good master, I will yet do you service.
Happy be you.
The forlorn soldier that no nobly fought, he would have well become this place and graced the thankings of the king.
I am, sir, the soldier that did accompany these three in poor beseeming. 'Twas a fitment for the purpose I then followed. That I was he, spoke Iachimo, I had you down and might have made you finish.
I am down again, but now my heavy conscience sinks my knee, and then your force did. Take that life, beseech you, which I so often owe, but your ring first, and here the bracelet of the truest princess that ever swore her faith.
Kneel not to me. The power that I have on you is to spare you. The malice towards you, to forgive you. Live and deal with others better.
Nobly doomed, we'll learn our freeness of a son-in-law. Pardons the word to all.
You hope us, sir, as you did mean indeed to be our brother. Joyed are we that you are.
Your servant princess, good my lord of Rome, call forth your soothsayer. As I slept, methought great Jupiter upon his eagle bat appeared to me with other sprightly shows of mine own kindred. When I waked, I found this label on my bosom, whose containing is so from sense in hardness that I can make no claim of it. Let him show his skill in the construction.
Philomenus,
Here, my good lord.
read and declare the meaning.
When, as a lion's whelp, shall to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which being dead many years shall after revive, be joined to the old stock and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty. Thou, Leonatus, art the lion's whelp. The fit and apt construction of thy name, being Leonatus, doth import so much the piece of tender air, thy virtuous daughter, which we call molus air. And molus air, we term it mulier, which mulier I divine is this most constant wife, who even now, answering the letter of the oracle, unknown to you, unsought, were clipped about with this most tender air.
This hath some seeming.
The lofty cedar, royal Cymbeline, personates thee, and thy lopped branches point thy two sons forth, who by Belarius stolen for many years, thought dead, are now revived, to the majestic cedar joined, whose issue promises Britain peace and plenty.
Well, my piece we will begin. And Caius Lucius, although the victor, we submit to Caesar and to the Roman Empire, promising to pay our wonted tribute, from the which we were dissuaded by the wicked queen, whom heaven's injustice both on her and hers have laid the most heavy hand.
Fingers of the powers above do tune the harmony of this piece. The vision which I made known to Lucius ere the stroke of this scarce cold battle at this instant is fully accomplished. For the Remain eagle from south to west on wings soaring aloft, lessened herself and in the beams of the sun so vanished, which foreshow our princely eagle, the imperial Caesar, should again unite his favor with the radiant Cymbeline, which shines here in the west.
Lord, we the gods, and let our crooked smokes climb to their nostrils from our blessed altars. Publish we this peace to all our subjects. Set we forward, let a Roman and a British ensign wave friendly together. So through Ludstown march, and in the temple of great Jupiter, our peace will ratify. Seal it with feasts. Set on there, never was a war did cease ere bloody hands were washed with such a peace.
Yeah, all right.
Yay! Yay! What time is it?
To call us all well that ends well.
Yeah.
That's next week.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, terrific job, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It was great listening to it. So it does go on. At the end there.
And then there are recaps at the end, like Friar Lawrence and Romeo and Juliet at the end. It's like, okay, we already saw that part.
That's
why I'm saying he did it when he was under the influence. He,
It's like Romeo and Juliet, but they live, you know?
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yep.
I still reckon he was being pushed to write a play for the Globe because he hadn't done anything for a couple of years. And he just pulled all the best bits out of all the other plays that he'd written that everybody enjoyed. So it's a sort of Shakespeare's greatest hits play.
Well, what was great about the Delacorte was the stage had all this junk on. Do you remember that? It was like this junk all around, like all these things that had nothing to do with like a chair or something piled up. It was incredible.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a nice little simple piece of work. It's so simple.
Great show, guys. I gotta go, but have a great weekend, everybody. Pleasure working.
All right, guys. Thank
Everybody
you,
was
Brian. Great seeing you guys. So great seeing you. Thank you. Anybody's got to go. Great. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
We have
Thank
holiday
you.
doings to get on with. That's right.
Yeah.
See you all in a week. You know, most of you, a lot of you, for all's well that ends well.
Yes. And Sarah, welcome and thank you so much. Great job. Glad to have you part of it. And always welcome to great to have new members and from Angus, who was here at the very first season, at the very beginning.
Wow.
Seems a long time ago now, Paul.
It is.
Oh.
21 years.
All right,
so,
everybody.
yeah. All right.
Jingle bells. Everybody be safe and well. It's goofy out there in New York. Jeez.
Yeah.
I almost got beat up by this homeless dude.
Be careful.
Oh.
By a Santa Claus?
You're right.
I just got a weird report about something going on right here in Riverside Park on my email before I got here. Some crazy guy. Yeah.
You got to watch yourself. Like, I don't take my dogs out after nightfall. I keep them close to home.
It's getting weird. People
There's
are
a lot of bad crime in Newark now. That happens in the holidays. It just happens in the, but COVID, it's worse. It's worse. Yeah.
A lot of people are freaking out. Yeah.
All right. Oh God, Mark, you were so freaking funny. Oh. Yeah. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Where'd Jackie go? Jackie had to get on with things. Okay. She died. She just died.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
Good night.
You guys are doing all right. We're sitting in London, all having to wear masks again. We're having to show passports to get into theaters, and they're talking